Meet Lu Qing, a man of extraordinary talent. Despite his elite background, he currently works as a simple security guard for a massive corporation which just happens to be owned by his billionaire wife. He is incredibly humble. In fact, he's never mentioned to a soul that his wife is the CEO of the very skyscraper he patrols. You see, Liu Qing isn't just any guard, he's a former Special Forces legend codenamed the Lion. When he's on duty, his protection is so ironclad that not even a fly could get past him. However, this marriage has completely flipped his world upside down. His wife, Wan Qing, didn't actually want to marry him. The second the ceremony was over, she didn't want to spend another minute in his presence. Wan Qing is a cold, high-powered CEO from an elite family. Since her parents retired, she's had to carry the entire weight of the corporation on her shoulders. But it hasn't been easy. The old guard at the company refuses to respect her. They think she's too young and lacks the grit to lead a global giant, especially with the stock prices plummeting lately. To make matters worse, one of the company's labs exploded just last week, causing massive losses. Her retired father believed that the only way to silence the critics and protect Wan Qing was for her to get married. That's why he handpicked Liu Qing, the son of his old brother-in-arms, to be her husband. Wan Qing is a total loner. She has one female best friend and 0 men in her life. No one has ever been good enough for her. So she only agreed to the wedding to satisfy her father's wishes. To her, this marriage is nothing more than a business deal. The plan is simple. Once the company stabilizes, she's divorcing him. Even at home, Liu Qing gets no respect. The housemaid treats him like an outsider and lays down a long list of strict demands. You must keep it absolutely quiet at night. When CEO Wan Qing is home, we stay out of sight, so you should do the same. Confused, Liu Qing asks, "What exactly do you mean by absolute quiet?" "It means the volume cannot exceed 20 decibels, she snaps. "And what exactly is 20 decibels? "It's 20 decibels, period. Wan Qing hates noise. "During the day, if you make a mess in the living room, we'll clean it. But once we clock out at night, you on your own. Don't let her see a single thing out of place. Your schedule is 2 meals a day during the week, and 3 on weekends. If you eating here, tell me in advance, so I can portion it out." Wan Qing hates waste. Liu Qing is stunned by the cold treatment, but because of his feelings for her, he chooses to endure it. What she doesn't realize is that they are actually childhood sweethearts. Years ago, they were inseparable. "My name is Wan Qing. What's yours?" "I am Liu Qing," he replied. But due to a tragic accident in the past, she lost her memory and has no idea who he really is. By evening, Liu Qing is struggling to adjust to his new lifestyle. At dinner, he stares down at a tiny portion of food. "Is this cat food? This isn't even enough for one person." The maid coldly replies, "That portion was prepared for Wan Qing. We didn't prepare anything for you." On their wedding night, Liu Qing tries to join her in bed, but the Ice Queen CEO's reaction is immediate. "What do you think you were doing? Get out." Liu Qing tries to play it off. "I've already taken my clothes off. If you keep bullying me, don't blame me for exercising my rights as your husband." Unmoved, she kicks him out of the room anyway. The next day, Wan Qing arranges for him to work at the company. Liu Qing shows up dressed sharp, fully expecting to be appointed as a manager or a director because of his connection to the boss. Instead, he's assigned to be a basic security guard. He doesn't even get to be the captain. But Liu Qing doesn't complain. He's confident in his skills and believes his talent will lead to a promotion soon enough. When he sees his wife walking toward the entrance, he gives her a bright smile and a respectful bow. Wan Qing, however, doesn't even want him in the building. To her, they are just contract spouses, and she wants him gone the moment her problems are solved. But Liu Qing just stands there with a smug, confident look. In reality, this was all her father's secret plan. He wanted Liu Qing by her side to act as her shadow protector. "Not happy with the job I gave you?" she asks coldly. "You were free to go back home and sleep." "I am very happy," he chirps. "Just look at this uniform, it perfectly matches my vibe." Wan Qing couldn't care less and continues to look for reasons to fire him. Catching him on his phone, she warns, "Using your phone during work hours? I guess you don't really need this job, do you?" As she enters her office, she finds a pile of gift boxes presents from colleagues for her wedding. Little do they know, the rookie guard they pass every morning in the lobby is actually the man who married their boss. Just then, Wan Qing receives word that a major business partner has arrived, but they've been blocked down in the parking garage. Wan Qing rushes down to the parking garage, and what she sees makes her blood boil. She snaps at Liu Qing. "Are you insane? I told you to park the car, but look where you put it. You parked it right here?" Liu Qing keeps his cool and replies, "Well, didn't you warn me earlier not to trespass on your private territory? I figured that specific parking spot was part of your private territory too, so I didn't dare pull in. Are you playing word games with me right now?" She fires back, "Give me the keys." Wan Qing is still convinced that Liu Qing married her with a hidden agenda. To uncover the truth, she asks her best friend to dig into his past. Unfortunately, his record looks pretty sketchy. "What does this even mean?" Wan Qing asks, looking at the file. "Let's see here," her friend says. He worked as a hotel security guard but was fired for misconduct. And back in 2004, he was actually expelled from university for starting a massive brawl. Before they can finish the conversation, the friend gets a frantic phone call. A group of thugs is currently trashing her martial arts gym. She rushes off, and Wan Qing, terrified for her friend's safety, grabs a suitcase full of cash and heads for the garage. Liu Qing spots her and, after figuring out what's going on, insists on going with her. They race to the gym, but as soon as they arrive, Liu Qing locks Wan Qing inside the car. He explains, "Give me 10 minutes. If I can handle the trouble, then you can go in and settle it with the money." Leaving her behind, Liu Qing approaches the gym alone. Instead of charging in, he hides in a corner to observe the situation. Inside, a thug is rolling on the floor screaming, "My leg! My leg is shattered." As a former Special Forces operator, Liu Qing sees right through this act. He knows it's a scam. He steps out and shouts, "He threw the first punch, and then your guys jumped him. Who said that? Who the hell hit me?" The thug yells, jumping up in a rage. Liu Qing smirks. "Oh, I thought your leg was shattered?" The thug freezes, embarrassed. It suddenly feels much better." Just like that, Liu Qing effortlessly exposes their lies. When he returns to the car, he tells Wan Qing it's all taken care of. She doesn't believe him at first, but after a quick call to her friend, she confirms the trouble has vanished. She can't help but feel a spark of curiosity and a little bit of respect for this mysterious man. The next morning, Wan Qing's attitude toward Liu Qing has done a total 180. Wan Qing said not to wake you, the maid tells him. She wanted you to get some extra sleep. Extra sleep? Liu Qing says, surprised. If I'm late for work, the boss is going to dock my pay. To his surprise, Wan Qing even lets him carpool with her to the office. However, Liu Qing isn't used to this sweet version of her. When they reach the garage, she immediately tells him to get out. She's terrified of people at the company seeing them together. But then, he watches her try to park. Her skills are, let's just say, embarrassing. No matter how she maneuvers, she can't get the car into a massive parking space. Liu Qing can't help but tease her. How can you not fit in there? Did you buy your driver's license? He sighs and steps in to park the car perfectly for her. Once inside the office, the director of the research department brings a new product to Wan Qing. This project is a big deal. If it succeeds, it will bring in a massive fortune for the corporation. Wan Qing is thrilled, but danger is lurking. As the director heads home that evening, she realizes a group of thugs is tailing her. She panics and tries to walk faster, but just as things get critical, a man dressed in black passes her, grabs her shoulder, and knocks her out cold. The thugs are stunned. That man in black? It's Liu Qing. Earlier, while on guard duty, he had intercepted their plan to steal the research samples from the director. There was no way Liu Qing was going to let anyone hurt the company's future. A bearded thug sneers at Liu Qing, and the group charges. But they've brought knives to a gunfight. Liu Qing is an elite special forces. These thugs are nothing to him. With one hand literally behind his back, he takes down two of them instantly. A heavy-set thug tries to resist, but the rest of the gang sees enough and bolts. Later, the director finally wakes up. When she sees the company security guard standing over her, she jumps in fright. Liu Qing calmly explains that he was just passing by, saw someone passed out, and came to check pretending he didn't know it was her. The director is skeptical, but once she sees the research sample is safe, she breathes a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, a man named Jian Jun finds out the plan failed. Furious, he drags Director Lian to Wan Qing's office. Jian Jun is livid that Wan Qing gave control of the research department to the director instead of him. To smooth things over, Wan Qing takes Jian Jun out to dinner. She strategically creates a new finance department for him to lead, explaining that keeping the director in charge of research is strictly for the company's long-term survival. Outmaneuvered by her logic, Jian Jun has no choice but to agree to the new arrangement. And just like that, the internal crisis was averted. Though Wan Qing had no clue her useless husband was the secret mastermind behind it all. See, Liu Qing wanted to settle the score for his wife's best friend, so he stayed hidden in the shadows, scouting the situation. He spots a small object nearby and, with the precision of a sniper, flicks a single screw across the room. It nails the man in the wheelchair right where it hurts. The paralyzed man screams in pain and leaps to his feet, instantly exposing his fake injury to the stunned crowd. With the scam busted, the problem practically solves itself. When Liu Qing returns to the car, Wan Qing is suspicious. Is it really over? How did you handle them? Liu Qing just shrugs nonchalantly. Simple. I just gave them a good thrashing. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, back at the martial arts gym, the owner of the security firm finds out his men were the ones causing the trouble. Instead of rushing in, he stays calm. It turns out this boss, Lei Shuo, is actually Liu Qing's old brother-in-arms. While Lei Shuo is assessing the damage, Jun Dai charges into the gym, looking like she is ready to tear the place down. Everyone expects a fight, but her first words catch them off guard. Just hit me and let's get this over with. I was going to use violence, but I don't want to make a scene anymore. Either hit me, or let me buy you dinner and a few drinks as long as this drama ends today. Lei Shuo listens to Jun Dai and realizes what's really going on. He considers following gym protocol, which usually involves beating his subordinates for their failure, but Jun Dai stops him. Instead, Lei Shuo formally apologizes on behalf of his company and agrees to pay for all the damages. On the way back to the office, Wan Qing can't help herself. She calls Jun Die to check on the situation. Wait, Liu Qing went into the gym by himself? After confirming the trouble is gone, Wan Qing glances at Liu Qing, her mind racing with questions. Later that night at Lei Shuo's house, his younger brother reports back. Liu Qing was indeed at the gym, but he just watched from the outside and left. Lei Shuo gives his brother a chilling warning. From now on, if you run into that man, back off immediately. If you can avoid him, do it. It seems Lei Shuo has also taken a sudden, intense interest in Jun Di's gym. Meanwhile, Liu Qing has some downtime, so he heads to an internet cafe with his friend's younger sister to play some games. As a top-tier pro gamer, he even manages to make some extra cash while keeping an eye on his surroundings. The next morning, Liu Qing oversleeps. He panics, realizing he is about to be late. "Xiaomi, why didn't you wake me up?" "Wan Qing told me not to," the maid replies. "She wanted you to sleep in." "Sleep in? If I'm late, the boss is gonna dock my pay." But Wan Qing calmly tells him to sit down and eat. She even offers him a ride to work as a thank you for his help the day before. Her cold exterior is starting to melt. Is this the beginning of a real romance? In the parking garage, Liu Qing watches his CEO wife try to park. Imagine watching your own wife drive at that exact level of high-intensity stress. She's struggling hard. The spot is huge. How can you not get in there? Did you buy your license on the black market? Liu Qing teases her, hops into the driver's seat, and perfectly maneuvers the car in a few simple moves. Watching him, Wan Qing can't help but think, maybe having a man around isn't so bad after all. Back at the office, the director brings in a prototype of their new product. She asks Wan Qing for full authority over hiring in the research department because another shareholder, Mr. Qian, is already sniffing around the project. Wan Qing agrees but warns her to keep the data under lock and key. But there's a mole. A man named Yuan has been plotting to hijack the project all along, and he's already arranging a deal to steal the data. Little does he know, Liu Qing is one step ahead, secretly photographing their entire meeting. That evening, the director, Man Shan, heads home carrying the priceless research sample. She realizes she's being followed and speeds up, pretending to be calm as she calls her husband to pick her up. But the thugs are closing in. Just as they about to strike, a mysterious man in a black mask and hoodie appears out of nowhere and knocks her unconscious to keep her out of the crossfire. The thugs charge, but they no match for him. The masked man, who we all know as Liu Qing, absolutely dismantles them. The bearded leader is too terrified to move and flees for his life. A moment later, Man Shan wakes up to find herself in the arms of the company security guard, Liu Qing. He's already ditched the mask and changed his clothes. He claims he was just walking by, but Man Shan isn't buying his innocent bystander act for a second. Seeing that Man Shan is out of danger, Liu Qing doesn't stick around for a thank you. Instead, he heads straight to an internet cafe to get some gaming in. But Man Shan isn't letting him go that easily. She follows him inside. What follows is a hilarious contrast. One of them is a world-class pro gamer, while the other is a total noob. Hoping to dig up some dirt on him, Man Shan uses the excuse of buying drinks to sneak over to the counter and interrogate the staff about Liu Qing. But to her frustration, they have zero information on him. Later that night, as she lies in bed, the memories of the attack come rushing back. She's now more convinced than ever that Liu Qing was the one who saved her. And looking at her expression, it's clear she's starting to catch feelings for the mysterious guard. The next scene takes us to a family mahjong game with Wan Qing's grandmother. Liu Qing's sharp eyes quickly realize that grandma is waiting for a specific card the 13 orphans play. Looking at the table, he sees 3 90-0 cards already played. He deduces that the fourth and final 90-0 card grandma needs is actually right there in his hand. Wanting to make the old lady happy, he uses some elite sleight of hand to swap the cards. He tries to set her up for the win, but his wife, Wan Qing, doesn't catch the hint and almost ruins the play. Thinking fast, Liu Qing pretends to draw another card, eyeing his wife to make sure she doesn't mess it up again. "You're not going to play that, right?" he prompts. Grandma excitedly feels the tiles, hesitating to make her move until her grandson-in-law cheers her on. "Looks like you hit the jackpot, Grandma. You amazing. You a pro." Later, while chatting with Grandma in the living room, Liu Qing's special forces instincts kick in. He notices a hidden medicine cup tucked away behind her. Right on cue, the nanny arrives with a fresh dose. To keep Wan Qing from worrying about her failing health, Grandma lies through her teeth. "Oh, it's just some supplements," she says before retreating to her bedroom. Quietly, Liu Qing pulls up a medical report on his phone. It's a cancer diagnosis. Grandma's health is in critical condition, but she is determined to keep her family from finding out. The next morning, it's business as usual. Liu Qing is back at his post, shamelessly playing games on the clock. But the moment he spots his wife's car on the security camera, he leaps up, adjusts his uniform, and gives her a dramatic 180-degree bow as she walks past. Meanwhile, trouble is brewing in the research department. An outsourced maintenance technician has snuck in, and the moment everyone looks away, he copies top-secret data onto a thumb drive. Man Shan senses something is off and checks her computer, only to find her files have been compromised. She sprints after the thief, screaming, "Security! Stop that man!" Liu Qing hears the commotion and gives chase. To hide his true elite capabilities, he puts on an act, making the takedown look like a clumsy accident. Once the thief is hauled away, a grateful Man Shan asks Liu Qing out to dinner again. True to his humble nature, he turns her down and walks away. Watching his retreating figure, Man Shan thinks back to the night of the attack. She is now 100% sure he is her guardian angel. Back at the office, the air gets thick with tension. An assistant brings a collaboration contract between the security team and Man Shan for Wan Qing to sign. Seeing her husband's name linked with the beautiful director, Wan Qing's jealousy flares up. "It's just business," she snaps. "Wait until after work." Liu Qing decides to poke the bear and teases his wife. "Fine, I'll just report to the security department that I won't be participating in any official duties from now on." "Since when did you become so brave?" she retorts. "Are you hurt? Or are you just afraid a hospital visit will uncover some hidden disease? You want me to take responsibility for you? You were not my family, so why would I care?" Talk about a cold shoulder. Liu Qing just takes verbal abuse in stride. Why? because just moments ago he had noticed Grandma feeling faint and helped her back to her room. Wan Qing had completely misread the situation, assuming Lu Qing had somehow been careless and caused her grandmother's injury. Once Wan Qing and her friend leave, Grandma asks to speak with Lu Qing privately. She looks him in the eye and asks, "How long have you known I was sick?" Liu Qing admits he's known since the very first day he arrived. Grandma praises his incredible observation skills and thanks him for helping her keep the secret. He urges her to go abroad for treatment, but Grandma has other plans. It turns out, Liu Qing and Grandma go way back. When they were children, Wan Qing had accidentally fallen into deep water. Even though he was just a little boy himself, Liu Qing had dove in without a second thought to save her. When she woke up, she had lost all memory of him and the accident. For all these years, Liu Qing has been the only one carrying the weight of that memory in silence. "My grandson," Grandma whispers. "All those years ago, you didn't care about the danger. You jumped in to save her." Night falls, and to keep the family from getting suspicious, the two newlyweds share a room but definitely not a bed. As Liu Qing lies on the floor, his mind is heavy with worry about Grandma's health. He tries to reach out to his wife. "When you have some free time, you should spend more of it with Grandma. Work isn't everything." But Wan Qing just brushes him off coldly. "Stop sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. Just try not to cause any trouble, and we'll be fine." The next day at the office, the security department needs volunteers for the graveyard shift. Wanting to bond with his new coworkers, Liu Qing steps up and takes the night watch. While on patrol in the dead of night, he discovers a forced lock and realizes someone has breached the building. It's a foreign intruder, an elite operative who has broken into the office to steal company secrets. Unfortunately for him, he just ran into a former Special Forces legend. Liu Qing blinds the intruder with his tactical flashlight, and the man quickly ducks his head to hide his identity. A brutal fight breaks out, and Liu Qing instantly realizes this isn't some petty thief, this guy is a professional mercenary. During the struggle, Liu Qing uses his flashlight to slice open the man's skin, but as they trade blows, a fire extinguisher is accidentally ruptured. The sudden blast of cold gas triggers Liu Qing's hidden trauma, his wartime PTSD. He has a crippling phobia of the cold. In an instant, his strength evaporates, and he loses his ability to fight back. The mercenary sees the opening and prepares to deliver a lethal blow, but just then, Lei Shuo bursts onto the scene. Li Shuo is Liu Qing's old war buddy who had been tipped off about the danger. Seeing he's outnumbered, the thief beats a hasty retreat. Meanwhile, Wan Qing realizes she left an important document at the office. She tries calling Liu Qing, but he doesn't pick up, so she's forced to drive back to the skyscraper herself. When she arrives, the silence is deafening. She finds the documents, but she also finds that something is very wrong. The security room is empty, and she immediately calls her best friend, Jun Dai, to come help. As she walks down the stairs, her heart sinks. She sees fresh bloodstains and clear signs of a violent struggle. She heads toward the company cafeteria, which has been turned into a battlefield. On the floor, she finds Liu Qing's abandoned phone. Little does she know, Li Shuo has already pulled Liu Qing to safety behind a nearby door. Liu Qing regains consciousness and tries to call out to her, but Lei Shuo clamps a hand over his mouth, keeping him silent before smuggling him out in the trunk of a car. Jun Dai arrives and begins a sweep of the building. She reports back to Wan Qing. "There's a secret elevator entrance in your office suite that also shows signs of a fight, and I found this guard's flashlight just outside your office door." On the other side of town, Lei Shuo's investigation reveals a deeper conspiracy. Someone purposefully arranged for Liu Qing to be on shift that night. This wasn't a random robbery, it's a massive setup. At the same time, the mercenary is reporting back to his boss. A mysterious woman pulls down his mask, revealing his scarred, ugly face. The next morning, the office is in an uproar. The CEO is beyond furious. A massive company, and Liu Qing was the only one on duty? Everyone else clocked out because he volunteered to cover them? Now, Liu Qing is missing. The security footage was tampered with, and there are signs of a struggle that someone tried to clean up. The staff starts shifting all the blame onto him. Suddenly, a voice comes from the doorway. It's the man of the hour. Liu Qing stumbles in, acting completely wasted. He's putting on a drunk facade to hide what really happened the night before, trying to save his coworkers' jobs by acting like he just ditched his shift to party. But Wan Qing is reaching her breaking point. The assistant asks where he was, and Liu Qing lies through his teeth, claiming he went out for a meal, saw a bar, and lost track of time. As a smart and powerful wife, Wan Qing can't tolerate this. She fires him on the spot for violating company policy. Liu Qing just scoffs. "You re the boss. Whatever you say goes." As he turns to leave, Wan Qing loses her cool. She grabs him firmly by the shoulder, telling him to stop treating everyone like fools. She slams his phone, the one she found at the crime scene, back into his hand. As she walks away in a huff, Liu Qing winces in pain. When she grabbed his shoulder, she unknowingly reopened his wound, and blood began to soak through his shirt once again. Meanwhile, looking for a way to stay close to the action, Lei Shuo shows up at Jun Dai's martial arts gym, claiming he wants her to teach him how to box. Back on the mat, Jun Dai is trying her best to make this guy quit, but she has no idea that Lei Shuo's real mission today is actually flirting. Using his elite special forces reflexes, he dodges every single one of her punches like he is in the Matrix. By the end of the lesson, he scores her WeChat contact mission accomplished. Meanwhile, Liu Qing is downstairs grabbing a bite, joined by the beautiful Man Shan. She teases him for getting fired over a drinking habit, but she genuinely believes he'll be back on the job soon. As soon as she leaves, Liu Qing's instincts flare up. He's being followed. but he recognizes the tale. Realizing his old buddy's boss was the one who pulled him out of the fire the other night, he decides it's time for a reunion. "Take me to your boss," he commands. When Lu Qing arrives at Lei Shuo's place, he makes himself right at home and passes out on the sofa. When Lei Shuo returns, he doesn't wake his friend. Instead, he quietly clears the expensive decor off the table and unstraps his watch. The second that watch hits the table, Lu Qing's eyes snap open. What follows isn't a fight to the death, but the brotherly greeting only two former elite soldiers can share. They move like lightning, a blur of strikes and parries, the kind of bond forged in blood and war. Lu Qing initially has the upper hand, but Lei Shuo knows his friend is nursing a fresh shoulder wound. He ruthlessly jams his thumb into the injury, forcing Lu Qing to tap out. As it turns out, the legendary lion is only here because his security uniform was confiscated, and he literally has no other clothes to wear. Lei Shuo laughs. "Liu Qing, look at you! You finally met your match." He then hands Liu Qing a specialized pill designed to treat his severe PTSD and rewire his stress response. But instead of saying thank you, Liu Qing grumbles that Lei Shuo's rescue the other night made him look like a drunk in front of his wife. The plot thickens when a girl named Luffy, the sister of a fallen comrade, is snatched off the street by a masked man and drugged. Lu Qing gets a chilling kidnapping text and sprints to the rescue. At the exact same time, his wife Wan Qing finds herself in a life-threatening situation. Lu Qing manages to save her, but he's forced to hide in the shadows, bleeding out alone so she doesn't see him. Later, he shows up at the hospital, looking pale and broken. He plays it off as exhaustion from a gaming marathon. But Wan Qing isn't buying it. She pulls out a key she found at the crime scene, a key with a specific blue and red tag, used only by the parking security team. A key Lu Qing conveniently lost. "You have 7 days to explain yourself," she says coldly. "If not, I'm handing this evidence to the police." "You actually think I'm the one who kidnapped you?" Lu Qing asks, stunned. "It's not impossible," she replies, leaving him speechless. Back at home, Lu Qing sinks into a hot bath, but the steam can't keep the trauma away. He's back in the freezing cold of that failed mission, the mission where his teammates sacrificed their lives so he could escape. He remembers saving a young Wan Qing from drowning, nearly dying for her back then too. He stares at the ceiling, wondering if all this effort, all this silent protection, is even worth it if she suspects him of being a monster. The next day, Wan Qing returns to the office. Her father, Jian Jun, is already there, worried sick. He assigns 2 personal bodyguards to her side. When Wan Qing tells him she suspects Lu Qing was behind the kidnapping, her father snaps. "Absolutely not. You've forgotten everything," he sighs. "Forgotten what?" He looks like he is about to spill the secret of their childhood bond, but hesitates. "Never mind. One day, Lu Qing will have to tell you himself." But the hits keep coming. By that afternoon, the news of the kidnapping has been leaked to the internet. The trolls and critics are having a field day, claiming Wan Qing staged the whole thing as a PR stunt to distract everyone from the company's massive financial losses. The pressure is mounting. Can Liu Qing clear his name before his wife ruins his life? Jun Dai finally hears the news about Wan Qing's kidnapping and immediately turns to Lei Shuo for help. Lei Shuo doesn't waste a second. He tracks down the malicious source of the rumors and the shady troll farm behind the online attacks. Together, they raid the agency to gather evidence, hoping to unmask the mastermind and clear Wan Qing's name before her reputation is completely destroyed. Back at her office, Wan Qing is staring at that mysterious key, her mind racing. The memories of her kidnapping are a blurry mess, and she can't shake the nagging suspicion that Lu Qing might actually be the one behind it all. Later that afternoon, Lu Qing vents his frustrations to Grandma. She believes in him 100%, but she's not happy that he's keeping the truth hidden from Wan Qing. It turns out, every single year, Grandma has been secretly sending Lu Qing a photo of Wan Qing to help keep their bond alive. Determined to bring them together, she decides it's time for a forced family dinner. When Wan Qing returns home, she finds Lu Qing and Grandma gaming together. She greets Grandma with a hug, but quickly realizes the old lady's surprise visit is actually an inspection. Wan Qing tries to call a driver to take her home, but Grandma isn't budging. Giving up, Wan Qing goes to change, but not before shooting Lu Qing a warning look. "Lu Qing, don't you dare say a word." Once she's gone, Grandma looks at him and sighs. "You're taking the fall again, aren't you, grandson?" "How did you know, Grandma?" "Stop pretending with me," she smiles. At dinner, Grandma notices there isn't a single wedding photo on the walls. Wan Qing makes up a lie, saying she's just like her grandfather, referring to the tragedy of Grandma's husband passing away before they could take a proper photo together. Grandma uses this old regret to guilt trip them, tasking Lu Qing with organizing a photo shoot. "Don't worry, Grandma," Lu Qing says with a smirk. "I'll make sure it happens. I just hope my wife cooperates." He gets a sharp glare in response, as Wan Qing still hasn't caught on to Grandma's real scheme. After dinner, the 3 of them are watching TV when Wan Qing tries to send Grandma home again. But Grandma is a pro. She claims her driver is busy and insists on staying the night. "Fine, Grandma," Wan Qing says. "I sleep with you, and Lu Qing can sleep on the sofa." "Absolutely not," Grandma protests. "I sleep alone in the master bedroom. You 2 stay out here in the living area." Meanwhile, Lu Qing checks in with Lei Shuo. Earlier, Lei Shuo had been tracking Wan Qing's movements to help Lu Qing stay 1 step ahead. Now Liu Qing needs a different kind of help. He asks Lei Shuo to pop his dislocated shoulder back into place. Lei Shuo sets the joint with a brutal crack and prepares to leave. Once he's gone, Lu Qing downs a glass of liquor to numb the throbbing pain. The next day, a little girl drops her doll in the middle of the street. A car comes barreling toward her, the driver clearly drunk and showing no signs of slowing down. The girl is frozen in fear. Just as the car is about to hit her, a shadow leaps across the road and scoops her up. They avoid the first car, but a second vehicle slams right into the rescuer, sending him flying. The hero is Liu Qing. Using his special forces reflexes, he saved the girl's life, but took a massive hit in the process. He's badly injured and bleeding. When the girl's parents rush over, they only have eyes for their daughter. Luckily, she's unharmed. Then, the father, Feng Yu, realizes the man who saved his daughter is Liu Qing. Liu Qing reaches out a hand, asking for a pull-up, but Feng Yu just stands there like a statue, showing zero gratitude. How can you not watch a child in a crowd this big? Feng Yu snaps, actually blaming Liu Qing for failing the mission. Liu Qing is bleeding heavily, but he drags himself to a bathroom to patch up his wounds before meeting Wan Qing, acting like nothing happened. She tells him he looks like he needs a hospital, but he refuses. As he walks away, she notices blood soaking through his sleeve. She wants to call him back, but the words get stuck in her throat. Back at home, Feng Yu is conflicted. He stares at a photo of their old 5-man elite squad, remembering their glory days. His wife wants to invite Liu Qing for dinner to thank him, but Feng Yu coldly refuses, wanting to avoid the drama. Meanwhile, Liu Qing is back with Lei Shuo, trying to find the man behind Wan Qing's kidnapping. When Lei Shuo jokingly says he'll never find the guy, Liu Qing snaps and smashes an expensive antique vase right in front of him before walking out, leaving Lei Shuo devastated over his broken decor. That evening, Feng Yu's family is at a restaurant. His daughter, Dudu, is playing in a ball pit when a stranger hands Feng Yu a phone. A voice on the other end uses Dudu to threaten him. Feng Yu sees a blue ball a signal that his daughter is in immediate danger and sprints to grab her, fleeing the restaurant in a panic. Finally, the 7-day deadline is up. Liu Qing sits on his front porch, waiting for Wan Qing to come home. He knows she's been at the police station all day, and that the prime suspect has finally been identified. Liu Qing thinks the air has finally cleared, but Wan Qing isn't done with him yet. She grabs his wrist, eyes fixed on his watch. "Time's up," she says coldly. "Aren't you going to tell me the truth? What will you do if I still insist on a divorce?" Even now, backed into a corner, Liu Qing refuses to reveal his true identity. Later that night, the Ice Queen's CEO is fast asleep when a black bird suddenly flutters into her room, perching on her nightstand lamp. She jolts awake, only to see a wicked, terrifying woman looming over her, but it's just a nightmare. At that exact moment, Liu Qing happens to be stopping by the house to grab some of his things. Hearing her blood-curdling scream, he bursts into the room. Terrified and trembling, Wan Qing cowers on the bed. Liu Qing gently moves in and pulls her into a protective embrace from behind. "Don't be afraid," he whispers. "I am here. Everything is going to be okay." Those words trigger a flash of memory. She remembers hearing those exact same words while she was being kidnapped. For once, the cold CEO doesn't push him away. She lets herself be vulnerable in his arms. To hide his emotions, Liu Qing quickly makes an excuse, saying he just missed his cat and came back for some belongings. As he turns to leave, something clicks in Wan Qing's mind. She grabs his hand and yanks up his sleeve, revealing a raw wound on his arm. She remembers seeing that same injury through her hazy vision when she was rescued. She demands to know why he saved her, but never said a word. To Liu Qing, protecting her is just his duty, no explanation needed. "Do you really want to divorce me?" he asks. Wanting to stay by her side, he proposes a new arrangement. He'll become her personal bodyguard. With no reason to refuse his protection, she agrees. The next morning, Wan Qing tries to lay down the law, but Liu Qing flips the script and lays out his own rules first. Rule number 1. If I decide a place is dangerous, you aren't allowed to go. Rule number 2. I go where I want, and you can't use any excuse to kick me out. And rule number 3. You have to report every single person you re-meeting to me first. He might have been demoted from husband to bodyguard, but as long as he's near her, he's satisfied. Just then, Man Shan drives by. Liu Qing tells her the thugs were finally caught, and his name has been cleared. As they walk together, they don't even notice their footsteps are perfectly in sync. Back at the office, a man named Yuan approaches Wan Qing. With the company's reputation suffering from recent bad press, he suggests hosting a charity auction to rebuild their image. He mentions that a powerful figure named Old Man Dong will be attending. Years ago, when the corporation faced its darkest crisis, it was Old Man Dong who saved them. It's a debt from the older generation, and Wan Qing is eager to show her gratitude to his family. Later, Wan Qing meets with her best friend Jun Die and confesses that Liu Qing was her savior all along. But Jun Die is skeptical. "That doesn't mean he's a good guy," she warns. As they say, a man standing with his girl is often decided by her best friend's opinion. Knowing Wan Qing is going to meet Old Man Dong, Liu Qing has Lei Shuo track the old man's location and beats her there. He finds Old Man Dong at a shop, being harassed by an annoying clerk who's been pushy after a long consultation. To escape the awkward situation, the old man fakes a medical emergency to get everyone's attention. Liu Qing and Wan Qing both rush to help. Not realizing who he is, Wan Qing treats him like any other lonely elderly man and checks on him with genuine kindness. Touched by her sincerity, Old Man Dong is deeply impressed. On the way home, Liu Qing receives a high alert message from Lei Shuo. His instincts scream danger as he notices something suspicious on the road ahead. Suddenly, the car hits a massive puddle and completely locks up. They re-trapped inside, the rain is pouring down in sheets, and there's zero cell service. Liu Qing is immediately on high alert, flashing back to the previous kidnapping. He grabs a glass-breaking hammer, tells Wan Qing to stay put, and steps out into the storm to face whatever is coming. He believes this coincidence is actually a calculated trap. He stands guard in the torrential rain for minutes, eyes scanning the darkness for a threat. Suddenly, Wan Qing steps out and drapes a leather coat over him. She tells him to stop being so tense and to come back inside to rest. With nowhere to go, the two of them are forced to spend the night in the car, talking and waiting for the morning light. Wan Qing finally comes to a conclusion. She's always the one playing the strong role, while Lu Qing is a master of deception, hiding his true self from everyone. She makes a silent vow she won't pry into the secrets he clearly doesn't want to share. Meanwhile, in the shadows, a mysterious female antagonist is briefing her crew. Her mission? Steal a crucial contract from Wan Qing and destroy it. If they fail, their lives are forfeit. She decides that the upcoming charity auction is the perfect place to strike. At the same time, Feng Yu receives a chilling phone call. The voice on the other end demands Wan Qing's fingerprint. Furious, he smashes his phone in a rage. He's being blackmailed. Someone is using his family as leverage. Despite being Lu Qing's former brother-in-law, he decides that his family's safety comes first. He has his wife invite Lu Qing and Wan Qing over for a thank you dinner for saving their daughter, planning to steal the fingerprint during the meal. The next day at the office, Dudu's mother makes the invitation. That night, the four of them sat down to eat. Wan Qing, ever the detective, tries to sniff out the truth about the two men's history. How do you and Lu Qing know each other? Co-workers? Classmates? Classmates first, then co-workers. Feng Yu lies. What was your major? She presses. Logistics management, he replies quickly. Feng Yu then makes his move. Claiming they haven't seen each other in years, he asks for a group photo. He strategically grabs Wan Qing's phone, and while handing it back, he carefully wipes the screen to harvest her fingerprint. Lu Qing's elite instincts pick up on the weird behavior, but he doesn't say a word. Wan Qing has no idea that this single photo is about to cost her everything. Fast forward to the charity auction. A waitress accidentally shatters a vase valued at a staggering 20 million yuan. She's terrified, begging for mercy. But the staff demands she pays up. The owner of the piece, Mr. Yang, isn't actually upset because he knows it's a cheap, doctored, restored antique he bought for pennies. The staff tries to force the issue, but Lu Qing steps in, stopping his wife from getting involved. This is a small matter, don't worry about it, he tells her. He then walks up to Mr. Yang and his wife and drops a bombshell. They should actually be thanking the waitress for breaking the vase. How do I know it's a fake? Because I am the one who broke it, he claims boldly. He picks up a shard and confidently declares that the antique is actually made of modern epoxy resin. The staff calls for an immediate appraisal. While the auction crowd is distracted by the drama, Feng Yu is ghosting through the dark halls of the corporation. He reaches the research department and uses the stolen fingerprint to bypass security. What exactly is he doing with those top-secret files? Back at the auction, the appraisal comes back. The vase is indeed a fake. Yang, who turns out to be surprisingly straightforward, announces that the waitress doesn't owe a dime. In fact, to save face, she donates 20 million yuan in her husband's name to the charity and offers a real item for donation. It's a classic high society power move, where money talks and image is everything. After the dust settles, Lu Qing meets Lei Shuo in the restroom. He reveals that the waitress, Yu Ting, is the younger sister of their fallen comrade, codenamed Magic Ford. Ford had sacrificed himself to cover their retreat during that fateful mission years ago. Lu Qing feels like the ghosts of his past are being pushed in front of him one by one, and he senses a massive, dark conspiracy pulling the strings. Don't overthink it, Lei Shuo tells him, promising to investigate. Later, as Lei Shuo drives Jundai home, she admits she knows they're hiding something big. Lei Shuo doesn't deny his feelings for her but stays focused on the mission. He reveals that Wan Qing's kidnapping was linked to a man named Yang Zhentian, and he knows this because he has been illegally eavesdropping on Yang's phone calls. Lu Qing and Wan Qing finally make it back home, with Lu Qing grumbling the whole way about how the fancy party food didn't even come close to filling his stomach. But Wan Qing has other things on her mind. The real test is about to begin. Today is the big day for the company. Wan Qing's group is launching a public demonstration of their independently developed new engine. Little did she know, Feng Yu had already broken into the lab earlier. Down in the lobby, the villainous Fei Fei sits with her laptop, ready to bypass the lab's security system and initiate a total shutdown. Inside the lab, the countdown begins. At first, everything looks perfect, the parameters are stable. But Fei Fei successfully hacks in and begins her sabotage. Suddenly, alarms blare. The engine's temperature spikes to dangerous levels, and the cooling system starts to fail. Man Shan realizes they're in deep trouble and orders the team to stabilize the core. Fei Fei thinks she has won, but then her screen goes dark. She tries to re-enter the system, but she's locked out. No matter what she tries, she fails. The lab's glitch is mysteriously fixed, and the engine returns to normal. The demonstration is a massive success, and Wan Qing secures the crucial investment from Old Man Dong. But how did they pull it off? It turns out, after being threatened, Feng Yu had actually gone straight to Lu Qing and Lei Shuo. He told them everything. He might not know who the puppet master is, but if anyone touches his family, he's ready for war. And to him, Lu Qing and Lei Shuo are family. Lu Qing had anticipated the hack and planted a remote virus to act as a counter firewall, blocking Fei Fei's attack at the last second. Later, Lu Qing makes a call to his rival. Threatening a man's family is a filthy move, he growls. You should never have touched my friends. If you don't back off, listen to me carefully. No matter where you hide on this earth, I will find you." While the lab team celebrates their victory with a party, Lu Qing and his two brothers are off drinking, plotting their next move against the organization. Lu Qing ends up getting completely wasted and stumbles home. Wan Qing tries to help him up, but he has dead weight. As she pulls off his coat, his wallet falls out. Remembering how much he treasures the photo inside, she can't resist a peek. Suddenly, the drunk Lu Qing lunges forward and pins her down. Wan Qing asks about the girl in the photo, and Lu Qing whispers, "This girl, she's the only reason I'm still pushing through life." Hearing this, Wan Qing feels a surge of jealousy and shoves him away. Lu Qing manages to steal a quick kiss, but before he can celebrate, a very annoyed Wan Qing steps on his hand and gives him a solid kick for good measure. She still has no idea that the girl in that cherished photo is actually her. If she knew, she'd probably be mortified. Despite her anger, she can't leave him on the floor, so she tenderly covers him with a blanket. What a wife, right? Just as Lu Qing is enjoying this brief moment of bliss, the doorbell rings. He tries to hide, but Wan Qing pushes him back and opens the door. Outside, Grandma is standing there, giving Lu Qing a massive thumbs up and a wink. She's thrilled to see them bonding, but the romantic mood is quickly killed. The security guard at the door reports that a young woman is outside and looks very ill. It's Yu Ting, the waitress from the auction. Wan Qing makes an excuse about contract work and retreats to her room, while Grandma stops pretending to be asleep the second she has gone. Lu Qing is frantic when he realizes Yu Ting has a high fever. Seeing his intense concern for this mysterious girl, Wan Qing's jealousy flares up again. "What is this?" she snaps. "I don't want my parents to be upset. What will they think if they find out a random girl with no background came here looking for you?" Lu Qing can't explain the connection to his fallen comrade yet, so he just stays silent. He has the maid, Xiao Mi, take care of Yu Ting, giving her medicine and some porridge. But as Xiao Mi is moving Yu Ting's clothes, a stash of hidden photos falls out. Just as Xiao Mi is about to satisfy her curiosity, Wan Qing walks in. Panicked, Xiao Mi tries to hide the find behind her back, but the CEO isn't playing games. "Give me what's in your hand," she demands. Xiao Mi has no choice but to obey. When Wan Qing unfolds the paper, she finds her own home address written on it, and her suspicion toward Yu Ting instantly skyrockets. That night, Wan Qing tosses and turns, unable to sleep. She can't stop thinking about Lu Qing clutching that photo in his wallet even when he was dead drunk, and his words about that girl being the one supporting his life. Now, this mystery girl, Yu Ting, has suddenly shown up at her doorstep. Wan Qing jumps to the obvious conclusion. Yu Ting must be the girl from the photo. Looking at her expression, it's clear the Ice Queen is finally catching real feelings and real jealousy. The next morning, the tension is thick. Lu Qing introduces them. "This is my wife, Wan Qing. And this is Yu Ting." Yu Ting's reaction is a bombshell. "Since when did you get married?" Talk about an awkward question. It practically screams misunderstanding. Wan Qing doesn't miss a beat. She marks her territory with surgical precision. August 6th of this year at 10:08 a.m., she adds a little sting, mentioning that because the wedding was rushed, they didn't have time to notify many friends or family. Sensing the hostility, Yu Ting quickly clarifies. "My brother and Lu Qing were best friends." She looks at Wan Qing and adds, "Any girl who can marry him must be incredible." Lu Qing is sweating bullets now. Well, obviously, she's outstanding. He makes a break for it, using the excuse of getting the car ready. Once he's gone, Yu Ting asks Wan Qing if she made things awkward for him. If you ask a question like that directly, how is he supposed to answer? Wan Qing plays it cool. "Don't worry, it's fine." Wan Qing decides to head to the office but hands Lu Qing a medical card for a clinic the company invested in. "Take her for a checkup," she instructs. At the hospital, the news is good. Yu Ting is fine, she's just suffering from exhaustion and an irregular diet. Lu Qing assumes she had a fight with her classmates and ran away, but Yu Ting reveals a darker truth. She's not living at school. She's been working part-time and renting a place, but her landlord just kicked her out. Lu Qing is stunned. He saves his number in her phone and tells her to call him for anything. But then, Yu Ting asks a piercing question. "Does your wife not like you?" Lu Qing changes the subject, asking how she found his father-in-law's house. "The note you gave me had the address on it," she says. Lu Qing's blood runs cold. He knows for a fact he only gave her his phone number. Someone is pulling the strings, intentionally pushing the people from his past directly into his present life. Back at the office, Wan Qing is fuming. When Lu Qing arrives, she pretends to be buried in work. He's not having it and knocks louder until she's forced to let him in. Her face is a mask of ice. "What do you want? You know that the phone call I got on the way to work, the one that made me leave it, was about Yu Ting." He looks her in the eye. "Yu Ting's brother was my best friend. I owe that man more than I can ever repay. He's gone now." Wan Qing is a reasonable woman. Hearing this, the pieces finally fit. Lu Qing quickly emphasizes that he and Yu Ting are strictly like siblings, but because she's going through a hard time, he can't just turn his back on her. "I never thought there was anything going on between you two," Wan Qing lies. "Oh really? Because your face yesterday said otherwise." Lu Qing grins, his playful nature returning the moment the tension breaks. And watch closely now, the cold CEO is suddenly acting like a little girl eating ice cream. Lu Qing notices a smudge on her lip and tenderly wipes it away. He leans in and kisses her forehead. Wan Qing doesn't pull away. She seems to be soaking in the moment. Until she wakes up, it was all a dream. Wan Qing opens her eyes to find Xiao Mi holding her hand. She looks visibly disappointed. Why are you sleeping out here? Xiaomi asks. I couldn't sleep last night, so I came out here for some air, Wanqing mutters. Xiaomi then hands her a box delivered by Lu Qing. Inside are stunningly beautiful flowers. Who are they from? The delivery guy didn't say. He just confirmed the name and address and handed them over. Wanqing tells Xiaomi to throw them away, claiming mysterious things aren't allowed in the house. But as Xiaomi turns to leave, Wanqing quickly calls her back. Actually, just leave them there. Deep down, she's smiling, convinced they re a gift from the humble husband she just dreamt about. At breakfast, Wanqing is still lost in the clouds, thinking about the dream she had. She's so distracted she doesn't even notice Lu Qing sitting right there. He tries to get her attention, but she's in another world. Noticing a smudge of ketchup on her lip, he reaches over and tenderly wipes it away. Still dazed, she licks her lips and mutters, "Actually, this is really tasty." The moment she snaps back to reality, her Ice Queen persona returns for some instant revenge. She hands him a slice of bread, and for a second he thinks she's actually going to feed him. But she quickly shuts that down. "Let me tell you something, don't you dare touch my face whenever you feel like it." While she's buried in work at the office later, her assistant brings in another mysterious gift box from an anonymous sender. Tired of the games, Wanqing tells her assistant to stop accepting gifts from people who won't leave a name. But the assistant mentions there's a girl downstairs named Yu Ting who is dead set on seeing her. Wanqing sighs and tells her to put the girl in the waiting room until the meeting is over. When they finally sit down, Yu Ting doesn't hold back. She's there to talk about Lu Qing. "What about him?" Wanqing asks. "Look, you were obviously a high and mighty CEO," Yu Ting starts. "You were used to being arrogant. But in real life, you need to drop the ego and be better to Lu Qing. A marriage without real affection is just misery." Wanqing almost laughs, thinking it's all just a big misunderstanding. But Yu Ting isn't done. She calls Wanqing out for not having a single wedding photo in the house. "Stop being so cold to him," she warns. "Lu Qing doesn't owe you anything." Before Wanqing can even respond, Yu Ting drops the mic. "Do you even love him? Because if you don't, stop using him." She turns and leaves, leaving Wanqing stunned and questioning her own heart. "Do I love him?" Later, Wanqing tries to clear her head with some yoga. She is 30 minutes into her session when her humble husband decides to crash the party. He shamelessly sneaks in, claiming he wants to work out with her because she looks tired. "I don't need your help. Get out," she snaps. Lu Qing makes up a lame excuse about the water heater in his bathroom being broken and asks to borrow hers. Big mistake. You don't mess with a boss lady when she's angry. While Lu Qing is in the shower, Wanqing stands outside the door and cranks the temperature up to a scalding 60 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Tense. It takes a few seconds for the heat to hit him. And let's just say, you have to be incredibly thick-skinned to survive a prank like that. The next morning, the tension is still simmering. Lu Qing starts teasing her again, asking, "Is Lu Qing my husband?" Wanqing is so annoyed she tries to grab his phone to delete whatever he's looking at. Now they say fighting is flirting, but doing this while driving is a recipe for disaster. They nearly get into an accident. Lu Qing asks if she'll come home to cook dinner tonight. She tells him she's swamped with a new project but will be home more once things settle down. Lu Qing notices something. She's talking more, her tone is softer, and she's actually explaining herself to him. "Wait, are you actually falling for me?" he teases. Wanqing hits the brakes so hard at a red light it nearly gives them whiplash. She makes him move to the back seat, claiming his presence is distracting her driving. They bicker all the way to the office, but even the air between them feels sweet. Wanqing's focus is currently on a massive partnership with the Dukai Group. Her assistant mentions that the other side keeps changing the project manager, and they can't find any info on who it is. Plus, the anonymous gifts keep coming. Wanqing wonders if it's her long-lost ex-boyfriend trying to get back in her life. Then, it's time to prep for the big gala. Her assistant brings out some dresses, and the first one triggers a memory. Before the wedding, Lu Qing's mother had sent over a set of heirlooms. "I have a jewelry set that would be perfect for this dress," Wanqing says softly. In that moment, the arrogant CEO vanishes, replaced by a woman so radiant and gentle it takes Lu Qing's breath away. He's never seen this side of her. She even asks him for a favor to help her put on the necklace. "This was the dowry your mother gave us," she tells him. Lu Qing stands there stunned. He had no idea his family was wealthy enough to own such an exquisite set of jewelry. For a moment, he actually feels like a rich man. "Well, how do I look?" Wanqing asks. "You look beautiful no matter what," he replies. For a fleeting second, they look like a real happy couple. But the romantic vibe is shattered when Lu Qing's phone rings. A technician on the other end claims Yu Ting is dead drunk and tells him to come pick her up. Forced to leave the moment behind, Lu Qing rushes to the scene. It turns out Yu Ting is faking it, and a second later a creep tries to harass her. Luckily, Lu Qing arrives just in time. With a single flick of his wrist, he sends the guy sprawling. When the creep calls for backup, Lu Qing dismantles the entire gang in seconds, ending the fight with a cold stare that strikes pure terror into their hearts. Suspicious, Lu Qing interrogates the staff. The waitress tries to lie, but she's no match for a Special Forces veteran's observation skills. She finally cracks and admits that Yu Ting bribed her to call Liu Qing and claim she was drunk. Just as Liu Qing is about to give Yu Ting a piece of his mind, Wanqing calls. Showing surprising maturity, the CEO tells him it's not safe for a girl to be out alone, and instructs him to bring Yu Ting back to their house. Meanwhile, the investigation into the conspiracy against Wanqing continues. Jun Die and Lei Shuo head to a high-end bar. Lei Shuo, ever the smooth operator, somehow convince the tough-as-nails Jun-Dai to wear a short dress, proving he is a master of persuasion. They are there to tail a man linked to Wanqing's troubles. Jun-Dai approaches the target, acting like a party girl, and manages to swipe his phone while he is distracted. She slips into the restroom and hands the device to Lei Shuo, who is already waiting to clone the data. Two guys outside the stall get the wrong idea and start banging on the door, but they quickly regret it when the duo emerges and gives the two drunks a brutal reality check. Phone cloned, Jun-Dai slips it back to the target without him ever knowing. Back at home, Liu Qing wants to repay Wanqing for her kindness toward Yuting, so he offers to help her with work. Wanqing is currently obsessing over the mysterious manager of the Dukai group. She shows Liu Qing the only evidence she has, a blurry paparazzi shot that doesn't even show the man's face. Frustrated, she shuts down her computer and goes to bed. But the second she's gone, Liu Qing snaps a photo of the screen and sends it to Lei Shuo for a deep dive investigation. The next morning, the pieces start falling into place. Lei Shu and Jun-Di realize that just like Feng Yu and Manshan, everyone close to the project is being targeted or blackmailed. Suddenly, Sun Yu arrives with the results of the photo ID. He reveals that the mystery man is someone who vanished years ago, Feng Kong Wanqing's ex-boyfriend. Liu Qing is about to start a game when Li Shu calls with the bombshell news. The manager Wanqing is meeting today is indeed her ex, Feng Kong. Liu Qing loses his cool instantly. He senses a massive threat to his territory. Over at the meeting, things get intense. Wanqing is visibly shaken when she realizes her business partner is her former flame. She tries to keep it professional, but Feng Kong won't stop bringing up their past. Just as he's cornering her, Liu Qing bursts into the room. Wanqing immediately gravitates toward him. "This is my husband Liu Qing," she announces. Liu Qing stares the ex down. "You re Feng Kong, right? I've heard Wanqing mention you. Now, let's go home." On the drive back, Liu Qing can feel her distress. He offers a cryptic, deep piece of advice. A person who drives a lot gets better and better at it, but a car that's been driven by too many people just breaks down. Some people cherish a car so much they're afraid to even hit the gas, while others just drive it with pure violence. As the weight of his words sinks in, Wanqing breaks down in tears. It seems Liu Qing just hit a nerve she's been trying to hide for years. By the time they get back home, Wanqing's mood has stabilized quite a bit. She looks at Liu Qing and warns him, "Keep what happened today between us. I don't want my parents to worry." Earlier, while discussing the partnership, she was blindsided by the realization that her new business contact was actually her ex-boyfriend. Now that she's home, she can't stop the memories from flooding back. She remembers the time she was deeply in love with Feng Kong, only to have her father fiercely oppose the relationship. Her father had warned her that when Feng Kong's father struck it rich, he did so by swindling people, that the man was involved in every dirty trick in the book. But back then, a rebellious Wanqing didn't care about her father's disapproval. She was determined to be with Feng Kong, which led to a massive blowout between her and her father. She even ran to Feng Kong, telling him she wanted to move to Europe with him. She was terrified that the geographical distance and her family's pressure would cause their feelings to fade until they became strangers. So, the two of them decided to start a new life together abroad. Back in the present, Liu Qing stands outside Wanqing's bedroom door. He wants to go in and comfort her. He raises his hand to knock, but at the last second, he pulls it back. He desperately wants to ask her about their shared childhood and the fate that brought them together, but once again, he chooses to endure the silence. Curious about the truth, Liu Qing tracks down Jun-Dai, the only one who knows what really happened back then. He asks her why the Feng family suddenly vanished into thin air. Jun-Dai's mind drifts back to that fateful year. Wanqing had been planning to elope to Europe with Feng Kong, defying her father. Even though Jun-Dai didn't truly approve, she acted as a shield for her best friend, even lying to Wanqing's father when he called. But one day, while using the restroom at the Feng residence, she accidentally overheard a dark secret. She caught Feng Kong's father discussing a massive financial scam with a man named Mr. Yang. "No one will ever know about this," she heard them say. "We have to take this chance." Jun-Di recorded the whole thing on her phone. She couldn't stand the thought of Wanqing running away with a man from such a corrupt family. She decided to leak the Feng family's dirty laundry to the world. Consequently, the Feng Corporation went bankrupt, and the family fled the country overnight. Feng Kong vanished without a trace, leaving Wanqing waiting for him at the airport, a wait that would never end. From that moment on, Wanqing became a shell of her former self, quiet, cold, and withdrawn. Her father even showed her the news reports of the Feng family's flight to prove they had abandoned her. Watching her best friend waste away in sorrow broke Jun-Di's heart. She began to regret what she had done, but she never had the courage to tell Wanqing the truth. It wasn't until the company Mo Vien hit a crisis and her father fell gravely ill that Wanqing finally snapped out of it and took over the family empire. Hearing this, Liu Qing feels a surge of anger toward Jun-Di for letting Wanqing suffer all alone for so many years. Lei Shuo quickly steps in to defend Jun-Di, and the two men eventually leave in a tense, frustrated silence. Inside her room, Wanqing is deep in thought when the doorbell rings. She rushes to open it and nearly trips. Looking down, she finds the wooden box that Liu Qing had taken earlier. She brings it inside and opens it. As she looks through the mementos, she is reminded of the sweet moments her ex-boyfriend once gave her on her birthday, but those are just echoes of a dead past. Suddenly, her cat senses something. Wanqing stands up to investigate. She notices the window is wide open and sits back down on the bed. Of course, Lu Qing doesn't use front doors, he prefers jumping through windows. He's been feeling the weight of her sadness, knowing the ex-boyfriend's return has messed with her head. He puts on his usual strong front to comfort her. If a person has no way to prove their past, then they are living a lie every single day. Lu Qing looks tenderly at his wife, who is trying so hard to act tough. He uses his clumsy, unrefined words to try and heal a heart that hasn't felt peace in years. Once he sees her mood lifting, he slowly makes his exit. Jun Dai, meanwhile, is in a dark place. She wanted to keep her secret buried forever, but today's confrontation brought it all screaming back to the surface. Overwhelmed by guilt and self-blame, she tries to drown her sorrows in alcohol. Lei Shuo stays with her until midnight, eventually trying to help her to bed. "I don't want you to go," she mumbles. "Don't you stay with me because you like me?" Lei Shuo figures she's just talking nonsense because she's drunk, but then she looks at him and says, "I am ready to be your girlfriend." Lei Shuo doesn't think twice, he leans in and kisses her. It looks like a little liquid courage was all they needed to finally become a couple. The next morning at breakfast, Wan Qing's appetite had finally returned. She even tells Xiaomi to add 2 extra eggs to her meal. Thanks to Lu Qing's late-night pep talk, she seems much more at ease. As they drive to work, Lu Qing keeps a close eye on her expression. Wan Qing notices Lu Qing's small, thoughtful actions, and for the first time, she feels a genuine warmth toward him. She even tells him that this weekend, they'll go home and cook a meal together. But before Lu Qing can even celebrate, the mood is ruined by a phone call from her assistant. It turns out Wan Qing is still planning to meet her ex-boyfriend to discuss the partnership. Lu Qing's green-eyed monster immediately takes over. To sabotage the meeting, he starts driving like a total snail, intentionally making her late. "Why are you driving so slow?" she snaps. She tells him his jealousy is meaningless and calls him incredibly immature. Despite his antics, she makes it to the office to meet Feng Kong as scheduled. Feng Kong is clearly not over her. Before she can even finish a sentence about business, he tries to hijack the conversation. He pulls out an old marriage certificate they once had to reignite her feelings. Wan Qing stands her ground, reminding him that she's already married. But Feng Kong is delusional, claiming her heart is like a kite string it may drift. But it never truly changes its course. Wan Qing tells him the past is dead and has no meaning, but Feng Kong insists he still loves her. When she tries to walk out, he grabs her forcefully. That's when Lu Qing bursts into the office like a hurricane. He's ready to lay hands on Feng Kong, but Wan Qing shouts, "Lu Qing, what are you doing? Didn't I tell you to wait outside?" The air in the room is thick with tension. Wan Qing is determined to finish the deal, but Lu Qing refuses to leave. He reminds her that as her bodyguard, his only job is to protect his beautiful wife. Feng Kong tries to kick him out, but Lu Qing won't budge. "Lu Qing, do you think this is helpful?" Wan Qing snaps. "You're just making everything more complicated." She claims her frustration with his immaturity is actually a sign that she cares about him, but her priority is the partnership. Lu Qing fires back a final warning. "If that guy says my name one more time, I'm not going to be nice." He turns and leaves, feeling like he's being punished for his wife's mistakes. Feeling dejected, Lu Qing visits old man Dong to vent. The old man tells him he had no idea the partner was the ex-boyfriend and urges Lu Qing not to stay mad. "If Wan Qing wanted to leave you, she would have kicked you out long before her ex showed up," he points out. "You need to remember one thing. You are her legal husband." Later, they meet at Grandma's house. Lu Qing is busy taking photos of Grandma and making her laugh, but the moment Wan Qing arrives, she starts acting cold toward him again. Lu Qing, ever the shameless husband, tries to charm her anyway. Grandma sees right through their bickering and gives them some sage advice. Constant fighting isn't good. You need to cherish the time you have to love each other. And she's right, cherishing even the arguments is what makes a real marriage. Thanks to Grandma's intervention, the tension finally starts to thaw. Wan Qing picks up a photo of Grandma and asks where it was taken. "That's Bat Chan, in the southeast," Grandma explains. The second Lu Qing hears the name Bat Chan, his face goes pale. He flashes back to a brutal mission he once led on that very battlefield. Grandma explains that she and her late husband loved the place so much they bought it and turned it into a charity school as a way to give back to society. Meanwhile, a dark plot is unfolding. Feng Yu has been framed for a crime and is currently being interrogated by the police. The culprits, who are actually his own subordinates, planted a screw in his trunk, the exact tool used in the crime. Feng Yu is trapped with no way to prove his innocence. Liu Qing heads to the bar to brainstorm with Lei Shuo. They realize that someone is systematically targeting everyone connected to Feng Yu. He has no alibi, and the murder weapon was found in his car. However, Lei Shuo discovers there was one survivor at the scene, a witness who could clear Feng Yu's name. Just then, the phone rings. "Hello? Didn't you listen to my warning?" Liu Qing growls. "I will find you." The caller is the villainous Fei Fei. She's the one who set the trap for Feng Yu. She taunts Liu Qing, revealing she has the witness in her hands, but she isn't sure how much longer that witness is going to stay alive. Liu Qing demands to know what she's really after. But Fei Fei just leaves him hanging, saying she'll be in touch when the time is right. After the call, Liu Qing pulls out an old photograph. He knows Wan Qing's grandfather built a charity school on that very battlefield in the southeast, and his instincts tell him everything. The kidnapping, the framing, the ex-boyfriend is all connected to that one place. The next morning, Liu Qing asks Wan Qing for some time off. He needs to find evidence to clear Feng Yu's name. Wan Qing, surprisingly supportive, tells him she'll be at the office all day and not to worry about her. But as soon as they leave, Yu Ting shows up looking for Liu Qing. She tries calling him, but he doesn't pick up, so she decides to pull a stake out and wait for him to return. Over at the corporation, Yang Zhentian himself shows up at Wan Qing's office. He isn't there for a friendly visit, he wants a piece of the new project. During the meeting, Feng Kong suggests pushing their new tech into a whole different high-level sector. It's a risky long-term play that gives Wan Qing pause. She realizes that if they succeed, they'll break all technical barriers and finally stop relying on imported aviation tech. Feng Kong agrees, but then drops the hammer. The Zhentian group will also be a partner. He's clearly trying to squeeze Wan Qing into a corner. After the business talk, Feng Kong manages to get Wan Qing to agree to a private meeting. Meanwhile, Lei Shuo receives a chilling update from Fei Fei. She wants Grandma's private safe in exchange for the final witness who can save Feng Yu. Lu Qing and Lei Shuo head to Grandma's house to scout the safe. They find it hidden behind a painting, but there's a catch. It's a biometric lock that requires a fingerprint. Lei Shuo analyzes the setup and warns Lu Qing that the safe has a hair trigger alarm. What if we cut the power? Liu Qing asks. If the power is out for more than 5 minutes, the backup alarm kicks in, Lei Shuo explains. Do you get it now? Got it, Liu Qing nods. The alarm goes off either way. Their only option is to steal the entire safe. But they need an expert's touch, so they recruit Jun Dai. Lei Shuo brings her to the wine cellar and lays out the high-stakes heist planned for tomorrow. Later that day, Feng Kong takes Wan Qing to their old haunt. It's a classic nostalgia trap. He even pulls out a business card for a top-tier divorce lawyer and slides it across the table. Wan Qing looks at him with pure suspicion. Feng Kong starts trash-talking her husband. The man has violent tendencies. Don't you feel unsafe living with someone like that? Wan Qing fires back instantly. You've only met him twice and spoken for a few minutes. What gives you the right to judge what kind of person he is? Seeing her defend Lu Qing, Feng Kong switches tactics. He starts bringing up their sweet memories, trying to break her down. Just as he's making progress, Wan Qing's father Lao Mo and his partner Yuan burst in. They've tracked them down, and Lao Mo is beyond furious to see his daughter with Feng Kong again. He drags her away, leaving Feng Kong alone with nothing but his regrets. Cut to the heist. Jun Dai arrives at Grandma's house where Lu Qing is already waiting with the gear. They start acting like an elite tactical squad. Group A in position. Group B in position. Do you guys have to be so childish? Jun Dai mutters. Group C in position. Lu Qing chirps, ignoring her. Jun Dai sneaks into Grandma's bedroom. Once she confirms the old lady is sound asleep, she uses a clever trick. She places a piece of specialized adhesive tape on her own finger and gently presses it against Grandma's to lift a perfect print. Mission accomplished. She heads to the bathroom to finalize the counterfeit. She lights a candle, carefully places the tape on a piece of foil, and heats it just enough to create a physical mold of the fingerprint. Will this actually work on a phone or a safe? She wonders. With the fingerprint ready, Lu Qing prepares to move the safe. Lei Shuo is outside on lookout duty when he spots a problem. Lao Mo's car is pulling into the driveway. Wan Qing and her father are home early. The team has to abort the heist instantly. To cover their tracks, they end up in the living room, frantically pretending to play a casual game of cards. Lao Mo and Yuan sit down and start complaining about Feng Kong's return, while Lu Qing and Jun Dai exchange frantic, secret signals. Jun Dai realizes the situation is getting way too complicated and whispers that she wants to quit the mission before they all end up in prison. Outside the villa, Lei Shuo is sweating bullets. He keeps checking his watch, signaling to Lu Qing that they officially running out of time. Lu Qing is a nervous wreck inside, but he forces himself to stay frosty. The plan has to happen tonight. Under the cover of darkness, Lei Shuo hacks into the power grid, plunging the entire mansion into a total blackout. This is Jun Dai's cue to shine. To keep the family's attention glued to the first floor, she starts putting on a bizarre performance, making weird faces and acting erratic. Lu Qing uses the power outage as an excuse to go check the circuit breaker and slips away. Upstairs, Wan Qing decides she needs her phone for a flashlight, but Jun Di blocks her path like a pro, keeping her downstairs. Meanwhile, the father-in-law, Lao Mo, is already on the phone with the management office, demanding to know why the lights are out. Talk about a high-stress heist. Little do they know, Lu Qing is currently robbing his own father-in-law, all to save a teammate's life. He coordinates with Sun Yu, who's waiting outside. Sun Yu tosses a rope up to the second floor. Lu Qing catches it and quickly hauls up a decoy safe for the swap. He swings the painting aside, bites down on his flashlight, and presses the counterfeit fingerprint onto the lock. Click. The safe pops open, but he immediately hits a snag. There's a signal jammer inside. Lei Shuo's voice crackles in his ear, warning him that the safe has an auto-trigger. He has to kill the power, yank the wires, and reconnect them all in under 30 seconds or the silent alarm will scream. Lu Qing moves with the precision of a surgeon. It's clear these two have pulled stunts like this 100 times before. To provide the ultimate cover, Sun Yu ignites a massive fireworks display outside. The family is instantly mesmerized by the lights in the sky, giving Lu Qing the window he needs to finalize the swap and put everything back exactly how he found it. But then, a close call. The nanny asks Wan Qing to go upstairs and grab some headphones for Grandma. As Wan Qing heads up, Jun Dai panics and signals the team. She accidentally trips on the stairs, faking an injury to buy Lu Qing a few more precious seconds. Lu Qing barely manages to slide out the window just as Wan Qing walks into the room. Downstairs, Sun Yu arrives disguised as a repairman. Lei Shuo coordinates perfectly, making sure the power miraculously comes back on just as the real repair crew shows up. Lei Shuo smooth talks them, claiming he has a family friend and the problem is already fixed. With the real safe in hand, they vanish into the night. Liu Qing's phone rings. It's time for the exchange. He arrives at the meeting point where Fei Fei is waiting. She demands the safe, but Liu Qing won't budge until he sees the hostage. Fei Fei signals her men, and a door swings open to reveal the witness hanging from a rope. To put the pressure on, she literally kicks the chair out from under the man's feet. To save the man's life, Liu Qing has no choice but to hand over the safe. "You were going to pay for this," he growls. "So will you," Fei Fei sneers. "Good luck, you running out of time?" As Fei Fei speeds off to check her prize, Liu Qing's phone rings again. It's a voice he doesn't recognize. "Hello, little lion. I forgot to mention. I want you to taste the pain of losing the one you love." Panic hits Liu Qing like a freight train. He realizes the entire safe heist was just a distraction to pull him away from Wan Qing. Back at the house, Wan Qing pulls into the driveway, completely unaware that a masked man in black is crouching inside her trunk. He slips out and shadows her as she enters the house. She's just about to take a sip of water when bam, the intruder lunges at her, sending the glass shattering to the floor. Yu Ting is jolted awake by the commotion. Wan Qing tries to run, but the intruder is too fast and pins her down. Hearing Wan Qing's screams for help, Yu Ting doesn't hesitate. She grabs a wine bottle, charges in, and smashes it over the man's head with everything she's got. She grabs Wan Qing, and the two women sprint for their lives. At the same time, the ex-boyfriend Feng Kong happens to be driving past Wan Qing's place. He sees the security guard unconscious on the ground and realizes his nightmare is coming true. Wan Qing is in grave danger. The intruder in black quickly recovers and snatches Wan Qing. Desperate, Yu Ting thinks fast and grabs an even larger vase, delivering a second massive blow right over the thug's skull. The two women huddle together in pure terror, but the blow only makes the thug angrier. He pulls a knife and begins to threaten them. Just then, out of nowhere, Feng Kong bursts onto the scene. Seeing Wan Qing in mortal danger, he lunges at the intruder, and the two engage in a desperate struggle. In the heat of the fight, Liu Qing finally makes it back. Seeing the lion has returned, the intruder realizes the odds have shifted and bolts out of the house. Liu Qing gives chase immediately, determined to catch him. Feng Kong tries to stand up, but something feels off. He looks down, and his heart sinks. He's been stabbed. Wan Qing screams and rushes to catch him as he collapses. Just then, Liu Qing returns from the chase and stops dead in his tracks. The sight before him is a dagger to the heart. His wife is cradling her ex-boyfriend in her arms. Yu Ting, still shaking from the encounter, reaches out and grabs Liu Qing's arm for comfort. Taking in the chaotic scene, Liu Qing quickly calls for an ambulance. Meanwhile, Lei Shuo has finally caught up with the getaway car. He flings the door open, only to find a grisly scene. The driver has already been silenced. Over at the villain's headquarters, Fei Fei is reporting to her mysterious boss. The tracks are covered. We have the contract and the donation money. The boss's voice is cold and satisfied. Well done. Now for the final step. Back at the hospital, Feng Kong is rushed into surgery. Wan Qing turns to Yu Ting and offers a sincere thank you for her bravery. Yu Ting, never one to hold back, asks the burning question. "So, who is the guy in there?" Wan Qing awkwardly admits, "He is my ex-boyfriend." It's a heavy confession that she doesn't know how to elaborate on. Not long after, Feng Kong is wheeled out of the OR. The doctor assures Wan Qing that the wound isn't fatal. A blood transfusion and some rest should do the trick. Still consumed by guilt and worry, Wan Qing sits by his bedside. "What were you even doing at my house?" she asks softly. Feng Kong looks at her with eyes full of longing. "Ever since I got back to the country, I've wanted to see you every single day. I thought about asking you out, but I knew you'd say no. So, I found myself driving to your house every night just to watch you from afar. I could only sleep once I saw the lights in your window turn on." As he speaks, he reaches out and takes her hand. To his surprise, Wan Qing doesn't pull away. Is the old flame reigniting? Right at that intimate moment, Liu Qing walks into the room. He takes one look at them holding hands and, without a word, turns around and leads Yu Ting out of the hospital. News of the attack and Feng Kong's heroic rescue reaches Wan Qing's father, Lao Mo. Terrified that his daughter might fall back into the arms of the man who once shattered her heart, he visits Feng Kong in the hospital. "Feng Kong," he says firmly, "your disappearance nearly destroyed Wan Qing. She was lost in the dark for a long time, and her mother and I were worried sick. It took everything to get her to stand on her own feet again." He begs Feng Kong to stop interfering in her marriage. But Feng Kong is relentless. He claims that while the past can't be changed, he intends to spend the rest of his life making it up to her. Seeing that the ex-boyfriend won't back down, Lao Mo leaves and hitches a ride with Liu Qing. Liu Qing is silent, drowning in self-blame for not protecting Wan Qing better. Sensing the tension, Lao Mo tries to ease his mind. Feng Kong saved her, and she's confused by the past, he admits. And the kid is clinging to her. Who knows if they'll catch feelings again? "But Liu Qing, I trust you. Grandma trusts you. You have to believe in Wan Qing. What she had with him is over." Liu Qing is a tragic figure in this moment, carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders in silence. As Wan Qing drives home, her mind is a battlefield. The events of the night have forced her to remember the happy times she shared with Feng Kong, the moments when they were everything to each other. She thought she had moved on, but seeing him again has shaken her foundation. Then, her thoughts shift to her current husband. She thinks about how Liu Qing has stayed by her side, patiently and silently protecting her through every crisis. She realizes she is hopelessly caught between a nostalgic past and a devoted present. Meanwhile, the three brothers are gathered over drinks. Lei Shuo and Lu Qing are trying to convince Feng Yu to get out of the game. For your family's safety, you need to retire, they urge. Feng Yu is tired of the violence, but he knows the truth. The mastermind has already found his home. There is nowhere left to hide. He decides the only way out is to stand with his brothers and hunt down the puppet master once and for all. Wan Qing finally arrives home. She looks toward the living room, but the sofa is empty. Without Lu Qing there, the house feels cold and hollow. She remembers the first day he arrived, how he used to just sit there and play his games, and a wave of mixed emotions washes over her. She walks into her bedroom and stops. There, sitting by her bed, is Lu Qing, completely drunk and out of it. She slowly sits down beside him. Watching him in the dim light, Lu Qing finally stirs awake from his drunken stupor. "Just how much did you drink?" Wan Qing asks. He looks up at her, eyes hazy. "You are truly so beautiful. Why did you even marry me?" she whispers. "Because you've been through so much pain with me," he mumbles. "Are you so drunk that you're just talking nonsense now?" He scoffs. "Who am I? I'm Lu Qing. Look, if Feng Kong is really the only one in this world who can make you happy, just tell me." With that, he stumbles out of the room, leaving Wan Qing to decide her own fate. Now, if you want to know how a persistent ex-boyfriend operates, look at Feng Kong. His art of war involves meeting his ex-girlfriend's best friend first to plead his case. But when Jundai doesn't fall for his charm, Feng Kong drops the act and turns to blackmail, threatening to expose her secrets to break her defenses. Just as Jundai is cornered, a new actor enters the scene. Lei Shuo bursts in with a performance that's a little over the top. "Honey, I proposed to you, and you're dumping me for this guy?" he wails. "I admit I was jealous because he was bothering you. But I love you. Don't leave me." The bystanders are completely confused, but the distraction works perfectly. Lei Shuo successfully rescues Jundi, leaving a bewildered Feng Kong standing there alone. Meanwhile, Yang Zhentian and his pregnant wife, Lolo, are visiting her family. Her father, Mr. Zhang, makes it clear he thinks his son-in-law is useless, but Lolo fiercely defends him. To appease his daughter, Mr. Zhang agrees to help and takes Zhentian to the company. "Lolo is always begging me to give you a chance," the old man warns. "If I find out you're mistreating her, don't blame me for being ruthless." "I understand, father," Zhentian replies, playing the humble son-in-law. Later, while out with his wife, Zhentian makes an excuse to leave and meet his teammates. Lolo is distracted by TikTok, watching a live stream of our main characters and asking her husband if the girl on screen is pretty. Suddenly, a mysterious woman accidentally bumps into Zhentian. "Oh, is this you in the videos?" he asks. "It is," she smiles. "I've been a fan for a long time." "Thanks. Stay tuned, things are about to get even better." After a quick fan photo, Zhentian rushes his wife away, but the woman Feifei has already slipped a hotel keycard into his pocket. Zhentian takes a taxi to a hotel, wearing a mask to hide his face. Feifei is already waiting. In a room filled with tension, she begins to seduce him while they plot to sabotage the corporation during tomorrow's big speech. Their plan is straightforward and bold, but they don't realize their every move is being recorded. Back at the safe house, Liu Qing, Lei Shuo, and Feng Yu are analyzing the situation. They've connected the dots. The intruder in black was controlled by Feifei, and Yang Zhentian has fallen right into her honey trap. Feng Yu wants to attack immediately, but Liu Qing stops him. "The mastermind has what they want," he says. "They'll come to us. We just need to watch and wait for the right moment." The next day, as Man Shan prepares for the big meeting, she gets a threatening call from Yuan. He warns her that if she shows up, she'll pay the price. Terrified, Man Shan fakes an illness and skips the meeting. Wan Qing doesn't suspect a thing. She asks Yuan if he has any notes, and he simply tells her to proceed as planned. The evening press conference begins. A radiant Wan Qing takes the stage to introduce their groundbreaking self-developed product. But right in the middle of her presentation, Yang Zhentian stands up to stir the pot. "Who actually researched this product?" he asks loudly. "Our group's research department, of course," Wan Qing replies. "Then can someone explain," he sneers, "why this product is identical to a project we are currently developing?" The room goes silent as the accusations of corporate theft ripple through the crowd. Wan Qing stands her ground, asking Yang Zhentian if he's actually accusing her company of plagiarism. He doubles down, demanding that the head of research Man Shan come out and explain herself. But he knows Man Shan is missing because of the threats he made. He's intentionally backing Wan Qing into a corner with no way out. But just as she's about to break, the giant screen behind her flickers to life. Instead of product data, it plays the recording of Yang Zhentian and Feifei plotting their entire conspiracy in that hotel room. Panic strikes. Yang Zhentian screams at the staff to shut it off and tries to explain himself to his wife. Seeing no one is moving fast enough, he loses his mind, charges the stage, pushes the staff aside, and yanks the cables out of the computer, but it's too late. The damage is done. He rushes to his father-in-law, Mr. Zhang, to beg for mercy, but the old man answers him with a brutal slap across the face. Seeing the video of her husband's betrayal, Lolo collapses. The stress is too much, and she goes into early labor. Mr. Zhang ignores his son-in-law and rushes his daughter out of the building. Suddenly, the screen changes again. This time, it shows evidence that Yang Zhentian was the one who ordered Wan Qing's kidnapping. The press swarms him like sharks. "I suspect you were directly involved in the kidnapping of Wan Qing," one reporter shouts. In the chaos, Yang Zhentian makes a run for it. Meanwhile, Lolo is loaded into an ambulance. Her baby is coming now. Yang Zhentian is cornered. Like a caged animal, he grabs a plate, smashes it, and uses a jagged shard to take Jianjun Yuan hostage. But he isn't the brightest criminal. He drags his hostage into a bathroom, trapped with nowhere to go. The police move in to negotiate, but Lao Mo stops them. "Wait, let me try," he says. Lao Mo tries to de-escalate the situation, asking if there's been some mistake. With his back against the wall, Yang Zhentian stops pretending. He confesses to everything: the kidnapping, the sabotage, the plan to destroy the company. He screams that anyone who stands in his way will die. Wanqing watches in horror, unable to believe the depth of his malice. Realizing there is no escape, Yang Zhentian makes one final call to his wife. "Hello? Are you okay?" "I am okay," Lolo's voice comes through, soft and weary. "Our son was just born. He's healthy. We're on our way to the hospital. Honey, I don't blame you for anything. I know the pressure my father and I put on you was too much. I'll wait for you to come home. We'll raise our son together, okay?" Maybe it's true that people become kindest when they have nothing left. Despite everything he did, his wife still chooses to forgive him. But for Yang Zhentian, the guilt is too heavy. Moments later, the police storm the bathroom. They find Jianjun unconscious on the floor, and Yang Zhentian has taken his own life. In the aftermath, Lao Mo pulls Wanqing aside. The board of directors has called. They demanding a total halt to the research project and a full explanation. Wanqing tells her father not to worry, she'll handle it. However, the police investigation takes a strange turn. They find it suspicious that in all that chaos, Yang Zhentian only threatened Jianjun, yet Jianjun walked away without a scratch while the captor ended his own life. Something doesn't add up. The next day, the boardroom is a war zone. The directors have been waiting, and their faces are grim. Wanqing starts by apologizing to everyone, but Jianjun immediately goes on the offensive. He accuses the research department of leaking corporate secrets. When Wanqing demands proof, he drops a bombshell. "I've reviewed Manshan's files. She copied every bit of research data to an external drive. Remember that repairman who broke into the lab? The timing is perfect. It looks like she staged the whole thing herself." Wanqing is speechless. The board begins to grill her, questioning her ability to lead the company. They decide that until the investigation is cleared, Jianjun will take full control of the corporation. With her power stripped away, Wanqing has no choice but to hand over the keys and walk out in a silent rage. Back at home, the weight of the defeat finally hits her. She's lost her position, her reputation, and her company. As she sits in the dark, her cat wanders in, as if sensing her sorrow. Wanqing manages a small smile and picks up the cat, the only creature currently giving her any comfort. Downstairs, the maid Xiaomi is worried sick because Wanqing refuses to eat. She speaks loudly, hoping Lu Qing will hear and do something, but he just pretends to be oblivious. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. It's June Dai. She's not there for a formal visit. She's there to drag her best friend out of her depression. Before Wanqing can protest, June Di pulls her out of the house for some much-needed distraction. Liu Qing and Lei Shuo decide they're not staying behind. It turns out the guys and June Di had coordinated this distraction mission from the start. Wanqing sees the whole gang is going and realizes she is outnumbered, so she tells them to just lead the way. The scene shifts to a dense forest where Sun Yu has been waiting for them. That's when Wanqing realizes this wasn't just a stroll, it was a full-blown setup. After Sun Yu hands over some supplies, he disappears, leaving the group alone. Now, Wanqing couldn't leave even if she wanted to, someone jokes. "Your schemes are getting a little too good." "Hey, this is called mission success and a pretty creative way to show some love." "That's not what I meant. Let's just see what's on the menu. Come on everyone, let us eat." And just like that, a reluctant Wanqing is pulled into a forest BBQ. As night falls, Liu Qing becomes the attentive chef. "Here, this dish was made especially for the two of you. Smells great, right? Take a bite. It's crispy, isn't it? Have another one. What did we just eat?" Wanqing asks, actually enjoying it for a second. "Oh, those are called butterflies," Liu Qing replies with a smirk. The second she hears insects, Wanqing's stomach turns, and she's practically gagging. To make up for the gross out, they start playing a game of tag, running through the woods like kids. Liu Qing is pulling out all the stops just to see a genuine smile on his wife's face. The next morning, as soon as they get home, Liu Qing hugs the housekeeper and hands him a box. "Here's the leftovers from last night. Cook them however you want." Then, he announces a change of plans. Everyone needs to get ready because they're heading to a professional studio for their official wedding photos. Wait, were those really bugs? The maid whispers in horror. At the studio, the photographer tells them to get into their formal attire. Wanqing realizes she's been trapped by Liu Qing's schemes yet again, but for grandma's sake, she goes along with it. She's imagined herself in a wedding dress 1,000 times, and as she puts it on, her emotions are a tangled mess. When she finally steps out, Liu Qing can't take his eyes off her. She looks absolutely breathtaking. He's so mesmerized that he literally trips over his own feet after just a few steps. He quickly recovers and takes her hand, and for a moment the tension melts into something that looks a lot like real love. Of course, he tells himself he's only doing this to secure grandma's dowry, but his eyes say otherwise. The shoot starts out awkward. The photographer has to jump in with directions. "Sit a little closer, please. Look at each other with passion. No, that's too stiff, be gentler. Imagine you a little kitten, and this is your favorite ball of yarn." With the photographer's help, they eventually find their rhythm and finish the shoot. While waiting for the photos, Wanqing's phone buzzes. It's her ex, Feng Kong. She hesitates, then says, "I have to take this," and steps outside. Feng Kong wants to know if she's thought about his proposal to get back together. Afraid that Lu Qing will overhear, she tells him they'll talk later and hangs up. Lu Qing saw the whole thing, but he plays it cool and pretends he didn't notice. The call has Wan Qing's head spinning again, but as she looks at Lu Qing, she realizes her heart has already made a choice. Later that night, she drinks the bottle of wine she had originally opened the night she got engaged to Feng Kong, a symbolic act of finally throwing the past away. The next day, Wan Qing meets Feng Kong back at the photo studio. He's beaming, thinking she is there to take him back. But then she asks, "Do you still have that marriage certificate from back then?" "I carry it with me every day," he says proudly. Wan Qing takes the document, places it inside a wooden box, and hands it back to him. Feng Kong is confused. "I'm letting go," she says firmly. "That one time I didn't show up. That was when we lost each other forever." She turns and walks away with a smile of true closure. Feng Kong is left standing there, his face twisted with a refusal to accept that it's over. The following day, a group of shady businessmen approaches Feng Kong about a partnership with the Dukai Group. He does a quick background check, finds their company is a total mess, and kicks them out immediately. His assistant asks if he's doing all this just to help his ex-girlfriend get her CEO position back. "Whether I'm doing it for her is my business," he snaps. "Just do your job." Meanwhile, a woman named Loi Na brings Wan Qing's personal belongings from the office to her house. When Wan Qing asks for news about Man Shan, Loi Na gives a cryptic warning. "You can't judge a situation just by how it looks on the surface. Things are not as simple as they seem." Wan Qing is stunned. She senses a massive cover-up and demands to know the truth, but Loi Na refuses to say another word. Loi Na tells Wan Qing that she found security footage from near Man Shan's house. She hands over her phone, showing the video of Lu Qing helping Man Shan during the earlier incident. Wan Qing's heart sinks. The situation is becoming more tangled by the second. Loi Na adds a final blow. "You aren't seeing things. That is Lu Qing." And after the lab explosion, he was spotted meeting with Man Shan again. Now, Wan Qing is fully convinced her husband is a traitor. She calls her best friend Jun Dai to vent. "Lu Qing has been acting so strange lately. I have a bad feeling about this." "How so?" Jun Dai asks. Wan Qing admits she suspects Lu Qing helped Man Shan steal the company's research data to hand over to Yang Zhentian. Jun Dai, however, plays devil's advocate. She thinks it might be a misunderstanding, pointing out that the person who benefited most from the chaos was actually Jian Jun. But Wan Qing can't believe it. Jian Jun is a major shareholder, so why would he sabotage his own company? Driven by suspicion, Jun Dai suggests they raid Lu Qing's room for evidence. They start tossing the place, and Wan Qing, either through pure luck or a lucky script, finds a hidden disk tucked away in a pile of books. Inside the case is a USB drive. They plug it into a computer, but it's encrypted with a password they can't crack. Wan Qing flashes back to seeing Lu Qing with Man Shan, convinced that the secrets on this drive are the smoking gun she needs. Meanwhile, at the office, the villainous Fei Fei hands a file to an assistant, telling him that today is his day to perform. Back at home, Liu Qing is trying to talk to Wan Qing about Grandma's upcoming birthday, but she is completely cold. She's fixated on that footage. She brings up his past promotions, insinuating they only happened because Man Shan praised him. Liu Qing just laughs it off, claiming it was all due to his own undeniable talent. Wan Qing decides to bite her tongue and wait until after Grandma's birthday to settle the score. The night of the party arrives. Jian Jun shows up with a fake smile, patronizing Wan Qing by telling her she should just stay home, grow flowers, and be a good wife and mother. Inside the house, Grandma's health is deteriorating fast. She's in agonizing pain, but she is determined to make it through the night. She pulls the nurse aside and demands a heavy dose of pain medication via injection, ignoring the risks just to save face for the family. During the celebration, Grandma puts on a brave face, greeting guests and cutting the cake. Then, it's time for Lu Qing's gift. He presents a beautifully restored wedding photo of Grandma and her late husband. Grandma's biggest regret in life was never having a wedding photo with the man she loved, and seeing this, she's moved to tears. "This is so thoughtful," she whispers. "Actually, it was all his idea," Wan Qing admits, giving Lu Qing some rare credit. "It is, without a doubt, the best gift Grandma has ever received, but the joy is short-lived." Just as the family is about to take a group photo, the assistant, Loi Na, rushes in with serious news about the company. Lao Mo and Jian Jun are forced to head to the office to handle the crisis. Loi Na claims she's found a lead on the missing Man Shan, suggesting she wasn't taken by their rivals, but by Yuan Jianjun's former subordinate. She reveals there was a massive money transfer between them, and notes that both have now gone off the grid. Lao Mo stares at Jian Jun, his suspicion growing. Jian Jun tries to call Yuan, but the phone is dead. There must be a misunderstanding. Jian Jun stammers, "Yuan isn't that kind of person." But Lao Mo isn't buying it. He suspects Jian Jun is the puppet master pulling Yuan's strings. He brings up the hostage situation again, questioning how Jian Jun walked away unhurt. Feeling the heat, Jian Jun offers to resign to prove his innocence. Just as the tension reaches a breaking point, Wan Qing walks in. To everyone's shock, she says, "I trust Jian Jun." She explains that while she had her doubts before, she saw a gift Jian Jun had prepared for Old Man Dong, which proved to her that he has always supported her in his own way. Then, Wan Qing pulls out the USB drive she found in Lu Qing's room, the one that holds the real truth. Lu Qing stares Loi Na directly in the eyes. For the first time, the perfect assistant looks completely rattled. Wan Qing demands that he follow her to the office to answer for his actions. Once they re-alone, Loi Na is still trying to play the victim, muttering about how much danger Man Shan is in. But Wan Qing has had enough. "Why did you do this to me?" she demands. "Why did you strike at my family and me?" Loi Na tries to weave another lie, but Wan Qing is 10 steps ahead. She already knows he was the puppet master who manipulated Yang Zhentian to frame Jian Jun, and then used Man Shan to try to take down Lu Qing. You see, on the way to the office, Wan Qing had received a surprise video call from Old Man Dong. On the screen was Man Shan herself. Man Shan revealed the ugly truth. Loi Na was the mastermind all along. His crew had kidnapped her little brother, using the boy as leverage to force her to sabotage the company and frame Feng Yu. Luckily, Lu Qing's brothers-in-arms in Zhendai had tracked down the boy and rescued him. To keep Man Shan safe, they had moved her to Old Man Dong's estate in the middle of the night. Man Shan's final words were a chilling warning. "Wan Qing, you have to be careful." Lao Mo enters the room as Loi Na finally realizes the game is up. He confesses to everything. It turns out, Loi Na was obsessively in love with Wan Qing and couldn't stand the fact that her father had married her off to a nobody like Lu Qing. His jealousy blinded him. He didn't care about the cost. He just wanted Lu Qing gone. When Fei Fei approached him for a partnership, he saw his chance. He leaked corporate secrets to frame Lu Qing, but when he tried to back out, Fei Fei threatened him, dragging him so deep into the conspiracy that there was no way out. Through it all, he insists he never meant to hurt Wan Qing personally. He begs her to believe him one last time, promising to surrender to the police tomorrow. Wan Qing sighs and tells him to go. As he leaves, Lu Qing blocks his path for a moment, waiting for Wan Qing's signal. She lets him pass. Before disappearing, Loi Na tells Lu Qing to take good care of her and subtly slips something into Lu Qing's pocket. It's his final, silent farewell. The news of Loi Na's subsequent death hits the group hard, and even the villainous Fei Fei is devastated by the loss. Meanwhile, Lu Qing gets word that Jian Jun has cleared everything with the board of directors, and they are practically begging for Wan Qing to return. The next morning, Wan Qing enters the boardroom to a standing ovation. She thanks everyone for their trust but remains humble, acknowledging her past mistakes. She announces that Jian Jun will stay on to manage the daily operations, while she will focus on the partnership with the Du Kai Group. Then, she drops a bombshell for her husband. From today on, Lu Qing will take Lu Na's place as my personal assistant. "Hello everyone," Lu Qing says with a smirk. "My name is Lu Qing. I look forward to working with you all." After the meeting, Lu Qing is already complaining about the workload his wife has dumped on him. Wan Qing looks at him, a flicker of sadness in her eyes. She remembers Loi Na's first day, remembers the coffee he used to bring her, and it's hard to believe he is gone. She turns to Lu Qing with a stern look. "Assistant Lu, from now on you report everything to me, no secrets. Aside from Old Man Dong and Man Shan, is there anything else you're hiding?" "Nothing," he says firmly. "It better stay that way," she warns, "or you'll never see me again." "Reporting to you is my highest duty," he replies, and his sincerity finally wins her over. But the peace doesn't last long. Wan Qing falls asleep while tending to Grandma. Lu Qing pulls Grandma aside, urging her to go to the hospital for treatment. But Grandma knows the truth, her clock has run out. "I am leaving Wan Qing in your hands now," she whispers. Lu Qing, the legendary Special Forces warrior, finally breaks. Tears stream down his face as he begs her. "Please, let me take you to the hospital." Grandma leans forward and presses a gentle, final kiss to a sleeping Wan Qing's forehead. Then, Lu Qing lifts her up and carries her out. On the way to the clinic, Lu Qing admits he's known for a while that she's been taking massive doses of painkillers just to survive the day. Her condition has turned for the worst. She only has days, maybe hours left. In her final moments of strength, Grandma looks at him and says, "You've suffered so much, my boy. From now on, you don't have to carry everyone else's burdens. Stop spending your life protecting everyone else while neglecting yourself." "Don't worry, Grandma," he chokes out. "I'll take care of myself. I won't be able to send you any more photos of Wan Qing," she sighs. Lu Qing just grips her hand in a silent, heartbreaking promise. As soon as Grandma finishes her final words, her eyes slowly close for the last time. The next morning, Wan Qing wakes up to find both Grandma and Lu Qing gone. Not thinking much of it, she drives to work as usual. But halfway there, she gets the call that changes everything. "Wan Qing, get to the hospital, now." Grandma has been in the ER all night. The news hits Wan Qing like a freight train. She's paralyzed with grief, her emotions boiling over into a total breakdown. When she arrives, the doctor drops a bombshell. Grandma had terminal cancer and had been surviving on heavy doses of painkillers ever since she returned to the country. "Give her back to me. Give my grandma back," she screams at the staff. "Please, calm down," Lu Qing pleads, rushing to hold her and comfort her as she collapses in the hallway. But Wan Qing is beyond consolation. She pushes him away, her voice trembling with rage. "Why did you take her away in the dark without telling me? Why didn't you wake me up? Why didn't you let me see her one last time? Do you have any idea how important that goodbye was to me?" Lu Qing is drowning in his own sorrow, but he offers no excuses. He just tries to pull her back into his arms. Wan Qing shoves him again, her eyes piercing. "Why did she trust you so much? Did you know she was sick this whole time?" Lu Qing silently nods. "Since when? Since the day she came back. She made me promise not to tell anyone. She wanted to live out her final days in peace, without causing the family pain or worry." Instead of understanding, Wan Qing is horrified. "Yesterday you told me you weren't hiding anything. Do you really think you can just make all the decisions for us? Are we just puppets to you? I'm telling you, Lu Qing, one day, your silence and your secrets are going to destroy everyone around you. With those chilling words, she turns and leaves him standing there alone in the cold. But Lu Qing isn't the only one suffering. Jun Di, Wan Qing's best friend, is absolutely shattered. As she walks aimlessly through the streets, she watches a happy family pass by and remembers her own past. Her parents died when she was young, and it was grandma who took her in, raising her as her own flesh and blood. Jun Di is consumed by guilt, feeling like she never did enough to repay that kindness. Lei Shuo finds her wandering and, without saying a word, pulls her into a tight embrace. Sometimes, when words fail, a hug is the only medicine. For Wan Qing, the regret of missing that final goodbye becomes a wound that won't heal. As for Lu Qing, crushed by the loss of grandma and the stinging accusations of his wife, he does the only thing a man in his position can do. He tries to drown his sorrows at the bottom of a bottle. He doesn't return home until the next day, only to find Wan Qing's luggage sitting by the door. The housekeeper tells him she is moving out for a few days to get away from him. Knowing he is the last person she wants to see, Lu Qing hands the housekeeper a USB drive. "Give this to her," he says. "It's Grandma's final message." Wan Qing watches the footage on the drive. But even Grandma's final moments aren't enough to make her forgive Lu Qing's deception just yet. Meanwhile, Feng Kong hears the news. His first instinct is to run to Wan Qing's side, but his assistant stops him. "If you leave now, you'll miss the board meeting, the meeting that determines if you can help Wan Qing get her CEO title back." Feng Kong hesitates, but ultimately decides that winning back her power is the best way to win back her heart. Lu Qing, now homeless in his own marriage, crashes at Li Shuo's place. He sees a figure sleeping on the sofa and, thinking it's his buddy, slaps them on the rear. "Hey, mind if I crash here for a bit?" The figure bolts up, and Lu Qing realizes he just smacked Jun Di's butt. They both scream. "What are you doing here?" Lu Qing yelps, "What am I doing here? Your wife just lost her grandmother, and instead of being there for her, you were here acting like a creep?" Lei Shuo runs downstairs to break up the fight before they kill each other. "What the hell happened?" Lei Shuo asks. I touched her butt," Lu Qing admits sheepishly. "You touched her butt? I thought it was you. Don't tell me you've never touched it?" That comment earns Lu Qing a swift smack to the face. Later, Wan Qing visits Grandma's old house and finds the nanny packing her bags. Wan Qing tries to convince her to stay, but the nanny, who served Grandma for decades, explains that with her mistress gone, she needs to see the world while she's still able to walk. She needs a change of scenery to clear her own heavy heart. Wan Qing had already anticipated the nanny's decision to leave, so she hands her an envelope as a parting gift. The nanny initially refuses, but Lao Mo steps in, telling her it's a sincere gesture from Wan Qing's heart. Wan Qing adds her thanks for the decades of care she provided the family. Finally, the nanny accepts. Before leaving, she hands Wan Qing a voice recorder, explaining that it was Grandma's dying wish for her to listen to it. After a final, emotional goodbye, the family watches the nanny depart. As Wan Qing prepares to head back to the office, Lao Mo stops her. He asks his wife to go on ahead so he can have a private word with their daughter. "Are you still blaming Lu Qing?" he asks gently. Wan Qing turns away, remaining silent. "I know he kept it from you," Lao Mo continues, "but if you look at it from his perspective, he put a lot of thought into that decision." "So you think he was right?" Wan Qing snaps. Lu Qing had his own reasons for suffering in silence. "I know you and Grandma were close, and I understand the pain of not saying goodbye. But you can't just dump all your anger on him. It's not fair. It's perfectly fair to him." Wan Qing cries. "Wan Qing, don't push me!" It's clear that Grandma's passing has left a wound so deep that Wan Qing can't see past her resentment. Lao Mo can only sigh, realizing his daughter isn't ready to listen. Soon after, Grandma's lawyer arrives. She has left her corporate shares and 8 charity schools to Wan Qing with a final note. "Use this gift to travel with the person you love most." Back at her hotel, Wan Qing finally gathers the courage to play the recording. Grandma's voice fills the room, pleading with her not to blame Lu Qing. She reveals that as soon as Lu Qing found out about her illness, he moved heaven and earth to find a cure, contacting countless hospitals abroad. But Grandma was tired. She didn't want to endure more painful treatments. She just wanted to spend her final days in peace with her family. Grandma's final wish was for Wan Qing not to let her death consume her with sorrow. Hearing this, Wan Qing breaks down, sobbing uncontrollably. Meanwhile, Lei Shuo meets with Jun Di. He's found a new lead. When they took Grandma's safe, they recovered most of the documents, but one stood out: a charity contract. They suspect that the real targets of the shadow organization are actually those 8 charity schools. Every clue seems to point toward them. However, Lei Shuo hesitates to dig deeper. When Jun Di asks why, he decides it's time to reveal their dark past. "Lu Qing and I have been through hell together," Lei Shuo explains. "We were part of an elite 4-man special forces unit." He takes her back to a secret mission where their squad infiltrates a heavily guarded weapons base to capture a notorious warlord named Lu Sa. The flashback shows the team moving like ghosts, taking out exterior guards with silent precision. Their objective: extract the high-value target, Lu Sa. Lu Qing and Lei Shuo breach Lu Sa's private quarters. The warlord is drinking, seemingly caught off guard, but the moment a gun is pressed to his head, he reacts with lightning speed, shoving the weapon aside. A shot rings out, alerting the entire base. As waves of soldiers swarm the building, the team manages to restrain Lu Sa, but they are quickly surrounded. Seeing no other way out, Lei Shuo orders the placement of explosives to level the facility. Following the plan, Feng Yu arrives in a heavily armed vehicle to provide cover and break the siege. The enemy is being swept away, and the team is ready to extract. But suddenly, Lu Qing spots a group of terrified children held in cages. Defying direct orders to retreat, he refuses to leave them behind and charges back into the fray to save them. Feng Yu, seeing his teammate go rogue, drives back into the line of fire to support him. In the chaos, an enemy soldier aims a flaming arrow, a signal for a devastating counterattack. Back in the present day, the danger is closer than ever. Lu Qing finds Wan Qing and warns her that she's being watched, pleading with her to be careful. But Wan Qing, still blinded by her hurt and seeing only the man she thinks betrayed her trust, simply turns and walks away. Lu Qing corners Feng Kong, demanding to know why he's still hanging around. Feng Kong stays silent, so Lu Qing drops a final warning. Don't even think about running any more sinister schemes against Wan Qing. The next day, the group visits one of the charity schools. They quickly discover the place is in shambles, harassed by local thugs and suffering from constant power and water outages. Knowing the villainous Fei Fei is still out there, Lu Qing urges Wan Qing to fly back home where it's safe. But the CEO is stubborn. She refuses to abandon the children. Suddenly, a man named Cao shows up, claiming to be a shareholder of the school. He tries to seize the property by force, surrounding them with a gang of armed thugs. Just as things get critical, a single shot rings out from the rooftop at Lu Qing. He paints a red laser dot on Cao's chest, making it clear that one more step means a bullet. Terrified for his life, Cao and his men scramble away. Knowing a larger storm is coming, Lu Qing calls in his elite brothers and the local armed forces for backup. Their investigation reveals the real threat: Naku, the region's most powerful drug lord. Again, Lu Qing pleads with Wan Qing to leave, but she won't budge. Naku ups the ante by sending Lu Qing a horrific video of kidnapped girls, including Xiao Tai, the daughter of their local ally Aunt Thap. The man leading the siege on the school is Non Qin. Lu Qing goes out alone to face him. Non Qin reveals his true identity. He is the son of Lu Sa, the warlord from Lu Qing's past mission. He isn't there for the land, he's there for blood. He wants to destroy Lu Qing. Non Qin orders his men to beat Lu Qing mercilessly. They use dry ice, knowing the freezing cold triggers his PTSD. Wan Qing watches from a distance, her heart breaking as she sees her husband being tortured. But Lu Qing, fueled by his promise to protect Wan Qing, finds a burst of strength. He disarms a guard and aims his weapon directly at Ngan Qin. Just then, Lei Shuo arrives with backup. He had reached out to Old Man Dong for help, but there was a condition. They had to take Ngan Qin alive. Lu Qing is caught in a stalemate, but suddenly, a mystery bullet flies in from the distance, killing Ngan Qin instantly. The immediate threat is over, the hostages are saved, and justice is served. But Lu Qing is unsettled. Who fired that shot? Lei Shuo and Feng Yu tell him to let it go, but then a waiter brings over a bottle of wine and a folded bill. It's a signature move from their friend Li, but Li supposedly died in battle years ago. The three veterans go on high alert, but for now, the ghosts of the past stay in the shadows. Back in their home country, the atmosphere between Lu Qing and Wan Qing has completely shifted. The Ice Queen has finally melted. She wants Lu Qing to stay in her room, but she's too shy to say it out loud. Lu Qing, sensing her hesitation, decides to give her space and heads out. Not wanting to give up, Wan Qing sends him a direct text asking him to come to her room. Lu Qing sees the message, but feeling physically weak from his injuries, he pretends he never saw it. The next morning, the investigation begins. "Did you get my text?" she asks. Lu Qing lies through his teeth, claiming he only just saw it. Suddenly, Wan Qing's mother calls them home for dinner. It turns out she's found out about the kidnapping and Lu Qing's secret life as a special forces soldier. Terrified of the danger he brings, she demands that Wan Qing leave him immediately. Just as their romance was starting to bloom, they hit a massive roadblock from the family. Later, Lu Qing returns home only to find a masked man in black waiting for him. His heart stops. He sees Wan Qing tied up once again. To save her, Liu Qing surrenders completely, letting them put a hood over his head and prepare to do their worst. Suddenly, the lights flash on. Li Shuo and the whole gang jump out, cheering. It was all a prank. Wan Qing had organized a surprise birthday party for him. Seeing Lu Qing is actually genuinely upset by the scare, the guests quickly make their exit, leaving the couple alone. That's when Wan Qing walks up to him and delivers the confession we've all been waiting for. "I wanted to tell you. I don't know how to cook, I'm terrible at housework, and I don't know how to take care of people. My personality isn't the best either, but I am still just a girl who wants a beautiful memory to define her love. I am so happy that through everything, you never once let go of my hand. Lu Qing, I want today to be the real beginning of our marriage. What do you say?" Hoping to help Liu Qing overcome his crippling fear of the cold, Wan Qing takes him on a ski trip. The second Liu Qing sees the ice rink, his body freezes up. He's terrified to even step on the snow. While Wan Qing is practicing, she takes a spill. Suddenly, a mysterious figure charges toward her. Seeing his wife in danger, Liu Qing pushes past his trauma and rushes to her rescue. But the victory is short-lived. The exposure to the ice triggers his PTSD, leaving him physically broken. Back at the house, Yu Ting is making herself a little too comfortable. She's been helping herself to Wan Qing's expensive skincare and treating the mansion like a 5-star hotel. When Jun Di finds out, she's absolutely livid. She storms over to kick Yu Ting out, refusing to let her best friend be taken advantage of. Jun Di delivers a brutal reality check. Let me tell you something, using your childhood trauma and your unfortunate past to beg for sympathy is just pathetic. Stung by the truth, Yu Ting packs her bags and decides to finally find a real job. Meanwhile, Feng Yu and his family are enjoying a day at the amusement park. But the fun turns to terror when their daughter, Du Du, is lured away by a stranger in black. After a frantic search, they find her, but she's carrying 2 bags of gifts left for them by the stranger. Feng Yu's heart stops when he finds items belonging to Li inside the bags. In a moment of pure panic and trauma, he tries to throw the bags away, scaring Du Du in the process. He has to pull himself together to comfort his terrified daughter. Yu Ting goes for a job interview, only to find the interviewer is Feng Kong, Wan Qing's ex. Realizing it is a pity hire meant to score points with Wan Qing, she turns him down. On her way out, she bumps into someone. A man catches her before she falls, and her breath hitches. He looks and feels exactly like her dead brother Li. Feng Yu is now convinced the man at the park was Li, but Lei Shuo thinks it's impossible. To help his friend blow off steam, they head to the boxing ring. Still, Yu Ting can't let it go. She corners Lei Shuo, asking if he personally saw Li's body. Lei Shuo admits that while he didn't see a corpse, Li's injuries were so severe that survival was a medical impossibility. He's 100% sure the man is dead. Yu Ting then asks Feng Yu, who reminds her that Li was surrounded by an entire army. No one could have survived that. Despite their logic, Yu Ting is convinced the man in black is her brother. It turns out, Feng Kong's attempt to hire Yu Ting was actually a setup orchestrated by Li himself. When the plan fails, Feng Kong has to report back to the ghost. By now, the business contract between the corporation and Feng Kong is finalized. Before he leaves, Feng Kong asks Wan Qing for one last embrace. Right as they re-hugging, Lu Qing walks in. Surprisingly, Feng Kong has a change of heart. He reveals the truth to Lu Qing. Li is alive, and he approached Feng Kong with a deal. If Feng Kong sabotaged the contract, Li would help him steal Wan Qing back. But Feng Kong decided to be the bigger man and refused. He warns Lu Qing that Li is back and targeting everyone. Later that night, Wan Qing catches Lu Qing staring at the photo in his wallet. She remembers him saying this girl was the reason he kept fighting all those years. Jealous and curious, she asks him point blank, "Do you still love her?" Lu Qing admits he cares deeply for the girl in the photo, but he promises he will never leave Wan Qing. Moved by his words, Wan Qing makes a bold decision. They are going to get married again, but this time, it'll be a massive public wedding, so the whole world knows Lu Qing is her husband. She takes Jundai out to go dress shopping, while Lei Shuo warns Lu Qing that throwing a wedding right now is a terrible idea. They have a target on their backs. Just as Lu Qing goes to find Wan Qing at the bridal shop, he gets a frantic call from Yu Ting. She's found him. Li is alive, and she's with him right now. Is Li back for a reunion, or is he out for blood? Lu Qing feels like he owes his life to his old friend, so he decides he has to face him alone. Lu Qing thinks he can handle this mission solo, but his brothers have other plans. Li Shui and Feng Yu aren't about to let their friend walk into a lion's den alone. When words fail to convince him, the three of them end up in a full-blown brawl. It's their way of forcing Lu Qing to admit he needs them. Eventually, he relents. The team is back together. Li, however, is being pushed to the edge. His captors force him to hijack a massive shipment. If he fails, he's no longer useful to them. Not wanting Wan Qing to worry, Lu Qing doesn't say goodbye. He just teases her one last time before slipping away in the dead of night. Wan Qing, completely unaware of the danger, heads to a bridal shop to pick out a suit for Lu Qing. But when she can't reach him, she sends the housekeeper to check the house. The news is devastating. Lu Qing has cleared out his things, leaving behind nothing but a signed divorce agreement. Wan Qing is shattered. She locks herself in her room, remembering his words about the girl in the photo. She assumes he's finally left her to find his true love, and in her heartbreak, she decides to let him go. Meanwhile, the other brothers are preparing for what might be their final mission. Feng Yu buys a massive bouquet of roses for Susu's mother, delivering a romantic farewell that leaves her deeply moved. Li Shuo shares a quiet, heavy goodbye with Jundai. She knows exactly what he's heading into, and though she's terrified, she gives him her full support. Lu Qing finally reaches Li's territory. Li sends tails to watch him, but Lu Qing loses them in seconds. Yu Ting is frantic with worry. She knows her brother is hiding something dark. She begs Li for a guarantee that Lu Qing will be safe. Li's answer is cold. As long as he helps me, he'll be fine. The old war buddies finally meet. Lu Qing scouts the perimeter of Li's bar before heading inside. Li introduces his new associates, Valencia and Simon, and hands Lu Qing a briefcase with 500. The mission? Complete a high-stakes trade. Lu Qing meets with a dangerous man named Cetis. When Cetis mockingly suggests the 500k is only enough to buy a single gun, Lu Qing doesn't flinch. He tosses the money over and challenges Cetis to a game of poker. Lu Qing loses the hand on purpose, letting Cetis take the cash to build trust. Simon is furious about the lost money and tries to attack Lu Qing, but the move pays off. Cetis' team calls back, agreeing to the deal but demanding Lu Qing meet them alone. Li watches from the shadows, ready to strike. At the meeting, Cetis' men only bring half the goods, demanding the rest of the payment for the other half. Lu Qing calls Li for instructions, and Li gives a chilling order. Just take what's there and execute them all. Lu Qing tries to stop the bloodshed, but it's too late. He jumps into the transport vehicle to find a way to drive it out, only to discover a mole from the military named Jerry. Liu Qing convinces Li to spare Jerry, thinking he might be useful later. Afterward, Liu Qing confronts Li, expressing his deep disappointment in his friend's rogue and violent behavior. Li offers no apologies. He promises Liu Qing can see Yu Ting once the job is done, but he keeps Liu Qing under constant surveillance. Knowing he's being watched, Liu Qing has to choose his words carefully while speaking to Yu Ting. He tries to convince Li to turn back and cherish the life he has, but Li is too far gone. He forces Liu Qing to help him take down a rival named Drew. By now, Feng Yu and Li Shuo have arrived at the scene. They get a call from Wan Qing, who it turns out wasn't fooled for long. She realized Liu Qing's divorce was a cover to protect her and has secretly followed them. The situation explodes when Cetus, seeking revenge for his stolen goods, sends his men to assassinate Liu Qing. Feng Yu barely manages to get Liu Qing and Wan Qing to a safe house. While there, they receive a game-changing update. Naku's entire fleet has been destroyed. Naku has lost everything. It turns out the whole payment was a decoy. Drew's real plan was to draw the police's attention elsewhere so he could ship a massive haul to Africa. You were going after his shipment, aren't you? Liu Qing asks Li. Of course, Li sneers. I'm not passing up an opportunity like this. His fleet is gone, his goods are lost, and he is a dead man walking. Li lays out the situation for Liu Qing, almost excited for the day Naku finally comes for his revenge. After Liu Qing and Li head out, Feng Yu goes to meet up with Lei Shuo. But little did they know, the villain Andrew's retaliation would strike like lightning. Andrew sends his hitmen to wipe out Li's crew and kidnap Yu Ting. At the exact same time, Lei Shuo and Wan Qing find themselves under a brutal ambush. Lei Shuo was trying to get Wan Qing to safety with Liu Qing, but they were cut off in the parking garage. In a display of pure elite skill, Lei Shuo takes on the entire group of assassins alone, but he's quickly overwhelmed and injured. Just then, Feng Yu arrives on the scene. Lei Shuo screams at Feng Yu to grab Wan Qing, who has been knocked unconscious in the car, and get her out of there immediately. Lei Shuo refuses to get in the car. He chooses to stay behind as a human shield to ensure Wan Qing's escape. He successfully takes down the remaining enemies, but at a terrible cost he takes 2 bullets to the chest and falls, critically wounded. Lei Shuo is rushed into emergency surgery. After getting her own wounds bandaged, a devastated Wan Qing waits outside the operating room, but her heart is torn. She knows Liu Qing is also walking into a death trap on the other side of town. She tells Feng Yu he has to go help him. Wan Qing is terrified of losing anyone else, but the thought of Liu Qing facing danger alone is too much to bear. She watches Feng Yu leave through a blur of tears. Meanwhile, Li receives a chilling call from Andrew. The demand is simple: show up at the warehouse tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. to exchange the goods for Yu Ting. Li agrees, but his heart is heavy with regret for dragging his little sister into this nightmare in the first place. Liu Qing and Li sneak into the warehouse to face Andrew, while Feng Yu lurks in the shadows, rigging the entire building with explosives. But Andrew has a sadistic game in mind. He orders Liu Qing and Li to draw their weapons and kill each other. The last man standing gets to take Yu Ting home. No! Yu Ting screams, but it's too late. Li draws his gun first, aiming it straight at Liu Qing's heart. But wait, he's signaling Liu Qing with his fingers. It's a tactical distraction. He wants Liu Qing to fire at him so he can use the chaos to take out Naku and Andrew. Liu Qing hesitates, his finger trembling on the trigger. Yu Ting is hysterical, begging them not to kill each other. In a split second of perfect synchronization, the two veterans pivot and open fire on Andrew. They take him down, but Liu Qing is hit in the crossfire. Luckily, his body armor saves his life, and he's back on his feet in seconds. Liu Qing thinks the nightmare is over and tries to lead Li and Yu Ting out. But Li reveals his true colors. He's used a fortune to bribe Andrew's associate, a man named Motion. Li is delusional, believing that by taking out Andrew, Motion will help him become the most powerful man in the country. And then what? Liu Qing asks, horrified. Then he helps me become the strongest man in the whole world. Li screams. We don't belong here, Mac. Liu Qing pleads. But there is no honor among thieves. Motion has no intention of sharing power. He wants to kill Li and take everything for himself. Just as they about to be executed, Feng Yu roars in with the extraction vehicle. Liu Qing begs Li to give up this madness. But Li is blinded by greed until a bullet finally tears through him, snapping him back to reality. Realizing there's no way out, Li makes one final choice. He shoves Yu Ting into Liu Qing's arms. Run! Get out of here! He roars. As the team escapes, Li triggers the detonator, blowing the entire warehouse and Motion's crew to Kingdom Come. 2 weeks later, Feng Yu finally wakes up in his hospital bed. Lei Shuo, though still bandaged, is already up and walking. The two brothers share a quiet moment, laughing and eating bananas, grateful to be alive. 3 months pass, and the dust has finally settled. Life has returned to normal, and Liu Qing is finally living the happy, peaceful life he always wanted with Wan Qing. The lion has finally found his peace. And that, everyone, is the end of our story. Thanks for watching, and we see you in the next recap.